You type so fast. You hit send, then vanish. Where all my haters at? Every single morning I open the feed, another brave warrior planting a seed, calling me stupid, insane, or blind. Funny how courage dies outside online. You got 10 paragraphs loaded with rage, king of the comment section locked in your cage. I send an invite, you suddenly freeze. Guess your convictions got weak at the knees. You love the cheap shots, you love the applause, but truth gets uncomfortable when someone asks. Because where all my haters at? Come stand where the facts are at. Stop hiding behind that screen. If your argument's real, then show what you mean. Where all my haters at? Bring your best, not your copy and paste. You say I'm wrong every single day, then disappear when it's time to debate. Algorithms feeding the outrage machine. Everyone shouting, nobody's seen. Talking in circles, repeating the line. Borrowed opinions, pretending they're mine. You call me every label you've learned this week. You never explain what you're trying to speak. I hand you a microphone, open the floor. Funny how silence gets louder than before. The insults are easy, the thinking is hard. It's funny how confidence falls apart. Where all my haters at? Come stand where the facts are at. No moderators, no filters, no shield. Let's find out what's actually real. Where all my haters at? Come on, don't hesitate. If you're so certain I'm always wrong, why won't you last one debate? I'm not asking you to agree. I'm asking you to defend what you believe. Big difference. Truth doesn't need an audience, only a conversation.
This is the chance, right? I've had a lot of I had a lot of detractors on TikTok, right? This is your chance. You think I'm wrong? Bring it on. Right? This is the chance for people who hate my views on racism in the black community. This is your chance to defend your views, right? And challenge my views. This is your chance if you think you could. Like, it's easy for you to you know, to say that people are racist. Let's defend it. Because I believe racism isn't even a top 5 biggest problem in the black community. I believe feminism hurt the black community, right? The single motherhood, broken families, all right? No fathers in the household. Bring back the patriarchy in the black house, all right? Good men, strong black men, all right? Hello, what's up? Could you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, what's your thoughts?
I kind of disagree with the 2 prompts,
Okay.
but I guess we can do feminism hurt the black community.
Go for
What
it.
do you mean by that?
So I mean that feminism has pretty much pushed out the man in the black community. So it has made women not think that they don't need men. Okay, so so right now, currently, the black community is facing a huge disparity. They have high divorce rates, low marriage rates. Okay, she's gone. Well, then I'll still explain it, right? The black community is experiencing high divorce rates, low marriage rates, right? High single mother rates. There is now if black fathers are participating, they are the most active, right? Black fathers are the most active out of active fathers. No discount, no argument there. The problem is there's not enough. The problem is it's not in the confines of marriage, right? It is really it's a single parent household. A lot of time, majority of the time, is a single parent household. I believe feminism has pushed many families, particularly the black community, into single family households. We have women who think they don't need men, women who honestly have sex with men they either don't want or don't want them, and then, we have broken homes. Did you think the Mr. Beast video plot was real first? Did I think the Mr. Beast plot was no. To be honest, I don't trust much of anything online, really. I take everything with a bit of take everything online with a bit of salt. But the point of that Mr. Beast video was just people are pig-headed, right? They will stick to their views no matter what. People will stick to their points no matter what. They won't ever admit they're wrong. This is a perfect chance. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. The whole video is fake. Yeah, probably. The problem the video is fake. But my point about the video, it still stands, right? My point about the video still stands. I don't even watch Mr. Beast videos, right? I don't really watch Mr. Beast, but when I saw that clip, that's what I was talking about, right? Just the point, right? Someone, if you should check it out, right? Guys, you should check it out. Mr. Beast video of a guy saying, oh, Mr. Beast challenges are easy. Okay. And then he gave up on the first time. He gave up the first try. They're so easy, yet you gave up. That makes sense. So, and then he said, no, they're still easy. So you're sticking to your guns no matter what. I think that's foolish. So. Yes. I'm not saying that it's not scripted. That's not the point, right? It's not the point of the video. Like I said, he probably paid the guy to, give up and then whatever. I wouldn't be surprised, right? I wouldn't be surprised. But again, my point of the video is that people are stubborn. They will never admit they are wrong, right? Even when their actions prove that they're wrong. Even when the logic, the data, whatever, prove they're wrong, they will still stick to their guns, right? Just like these topics, right? I've said this before. I don't believe that people can prove to me racism is a big problem in the black community. And the data don't show it. And yet you still stick to your guns. That is the problem, right? That is the problem. The data does not show that racism is the big problem. The data doesn't show that white privilege is an issue. Right? The data doesn't show it. And yet people still stick to their guns no matter what. That is the problem. Only thing that could make me racist is when people are hardcore racist themselves, just to show them. You give them the same energy back. For me, it's like, I'm not going to be racist, but I'm going to show you your hypocrisy, right? You complain about racism, yet you have no problem being racist yourself. That is what's happening in today's age, right? We have the minority community do not realize that you are becoming the very people you hate, the very people you call out. That's what you're becoming. You are becoming the racist. You are becoming the oppressive, the oppressor, the hater. You are becoming the very person you call out. And that is the issue. I care about black lives all the time. I'm black and I'm proud. I mean, that's great. This is the thing where I've said this before. It has to be consistent, right? The logic has to be consistent. No one is saying that you shouldn't care about black lives. But if you care about black lives when a white man kills a person, right, kills a black person, you should also care when a black person kills another black person. Just as much, if not more, right? Because it happens 1,000 times more. When a black person kills another black person, it happens 10,000 times more or 1,000 times more. Jack Black. Guys, these are your chance, right? You disagree with me? Come on. You call me racist, right? You call me racist for my opinions? Bring it on. I know I'm not racist. I'm speaking logic. I'm speaking facts, right? I'm calling out the hypocrisies. I'm calling out the delusions. I'm calling out the insanities. All right? So it's up to you it's time for you to prove it, right? If you think I'm racist, prove it. If you think the things I say are wrong, well, time for you to prove it. If you think you could do it. Brent, what is up, my brother? What is up? What? I didn't see that one. I didn't see that. Did you watch a group of black female cops shoot the white guy who was simply on some substance? I didn't see that. Jack, who called you racist? What's with the obsession? Who called, I mean, like, plenty, right? Almost everyone who disagrees with me, one of the things they say is racist. Or, yeah, the obsession. This is a thing where I've said this before in other videos. I'm not obsessed, right? I'm not obsessed with black people. I'm not. I honestly don't care. But this is the thing. I show you the videos. I show you the videos of what I'm talking about. I'm showing you the hypocrisies, the delusions, the insanities that people say. I'm holding you accountable for your words. Right? I'm holding you accountable for your words. I don't know why a Christmas Rose. I don't know why I can't let you join. I don't know why. Well, go to a nail salon, my brother. Or I don't know if you're a girl. Go to a nail salon. It's not obsession. To be honest, I believe that if the black community honestly just stop having like these supposedly opinions and shit, no one would care, right? All these takes, all these social media point of views, no one would care. If you're not talking about race, no one would care. What's your ethnicity? I'm Vietnamese. I am Vietnamese. Get some a Christmas Rose. This is a thing where I love haters and trolls, right? I love haters and trolls. Get some effing noodles, man. Right? I thought you said you didn't care. I never said again, it's obsession, right? I don't care to dive into, people's lives. What I do care is pointing out hypocrisies, delusions, like insane rhetorics, right? Insane rhetorics, crazy opinions. That's what I do care. I'm not like, what goes around, what happens in the community, it happens, right? Violence happens in all communities. That's not necessarily why I talk about it. Do you support the 14? I don't know what that is. The 14 words? I don't know what that means. Yeah, bro, you could go get it yourself. I mean, unless you're broke, right? Unless you're broke and you can't afford it, well, that's your problem, right? Ain't that your problem? I don't think that any Vietnamese restaurant is telling you not to come in. So go for it. And it's funny. I thought people were boycotting Asian businesses, but here's a person that wants Asian food. I guess the boycott is very weak. Hello? Oh, the 14 words is a white supremacist slogan. We must secure the existence of our people, and I've never heard of that before. I can't hear you, so I don't know your mic. I don't know if I can. I don't know what's wrong. No, I don't support that shit. One of the things I love about America, right? One of the things I love about America is its diversity. That's what I love. One of the things I love about America. This is why I think we need to have conversations, right? This is why I think we need to have conversations. I think one of the greatest things about America is its diversity, right? But I hate it that it's now becoming a weakness, right? It's becoming a flaw or it's becoming a hindrance, right? I hate that. I dislike that. I want us, like, I'm an 80s baby, right? I'm an 80s baby, right? So grew up in the 80s and 90s. We didn't, personal opinion, it didn't feel like we cared about race at all, right? It didn't feel like that. It felt like we didn't think about it, in my opinion, right? In my opinion, it felt like we didn't think about it, right? So this is the thing, my rhetoric is not about trying to divide each other. It's like, stop it, right? It's stop thinking about race, in my opinion. Stop it. It's not helping, right? Stop just thinking in that kind of mindset, because again, when you think about race, you're just going to hate each other. So I don't support anything about I don't know, kicking out Americans of different races. I'm not for that. Kicking out American or trying to kick out Americans of other races is absolutely idiotic, and I don't support that. So that is my opinion. Thank you. I'm Tank. Again, I'm not. This is why I said, right? I'm not gonna like cater to white supremacists, and I also not gonna cater to black supremacists, right? I don't cater to that. I don't, right? If you have any hate for white people, you're not gonna like me. If you have any hate for black people, you're not gonna like me either. So this is why I'm not doing this for clout, because I'm not gonna get the black power people or the white supremacist people. I'm not, right? I'm very in the middle. Pretty basic stuff here. Crazy to think people hate you for these beliefs. I mean, they do. I'll tell you, Vietnamese that came to Germany don't have higher crime rates. We do judge crime rates. I understand that.
Yo,
What's up?
I love the page, bro. Keep speaking the truth.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. They go hate on you, but all you're doing is telling your experience.
Exactly.
You're only going off what you see.
Yep.
If
Exactly.
I see it, I gotta call it how it is.
100. Thank you.
I'm sure if the person was Asian, you would call them out too. No problem.
100%.
Yeah, bro. It's about right and wrong. That's it.
100. I totally agree.
I'm with you, bro. Keep doing your thing, man. Keep doing your thing, bro. You're doing your right. I know they hating on you, but all you doing is talking real.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
I'm with you, my brother. Keep your head up, all right?
All right. Thank you.
All right.
That is why I do it, right? That is why I do it. I don't do it because, oh, I'm trying to cater to skin color. I don't give a shit about that, right? If you are American, you love America, we are in the same boat. If you are American and you love America, we are in the same boat. If you care about America, you care about law and order, you care about prosperity, you care about, America at its best, America first, we're in the same boat. I don't love you because you're Asian, you're white, you're black. I don't give a shit about that, right? But again, I have to fight against the racist ideology, the racism ideology, the victimhood ideology. I fight against that. I fight against victimhood ideology. Thank you for the white privilege isn't real. White privilege is not real. White privilege is not real. Seriously, it's not. White people, right? I mean, like, we love to say that, redlining, right? Black people suffer from redlining. Guess what, right? If you don't use per capita, right? More white people have been denied, right, home loans. More white people have been denied home loans if you don't use per capita. By raw numbers alone, right? White people have been denied more home loans. Ain't that crazy? White people make up most of police killings, right? Or killings by police. White people are arrested more. White people are more in jail, right? If you don't use per capita, right? White people overrepresent in all the bad shit and the good shit. Right? So how is that white privilege? It's just they are about 60% of the population. It's not white privilege. It's not a privilege to be the majority of the nation. It's not. And it's funny because to use the disproportionate, when we always hear disproportionate when it comes to black speeches, guess what? That is using per capita. So if you use per capita on one thing, you have to use it on everything. Only white privilege is knowing your idols didn't get there through DEI. I'm just triggering as many people as can. It's all good. I love the trolling. Right? I don't mind the trolling. This is a thing where, you know what? Like I said it, 80s and 90s, baby. When we were growing up, we can make fun of each other, bust on each other, and no hate at all. Right? A white man made fun of a black man made fun of a white man, and we just like say that's funny as shit. That is it, right? The race jokes it's just fun. Right? It's just like, okay, whatever, right? Let's see, who can handle it. That's the thing, right? We didn't care because race wasn't that issue, but now we are so sensitive. We want to be victims. We're so easily butthurt. Okay, we're so easily butthurt. That is like, oh my God, it's always racism. Do you see the video I just post, right? The video I just post. You only see a line of kids, right? Kids standing in line. Racism that, right? What? It's like, seriously, you're always looking through a racial lens, everything is racist to you. We gotta stop that shit. We do. Stop it with looking everything through racism. It only is going to make you hate each other. And I don't want that. I guarantee you, white people don't care. They don't care that black people live in America. They don't. Majority of white people don't care. They're not thinking about it. They're not crying about it. They're focused on their life. They're focused on their family. They're focused on themselves. They're focused on their community. They're focused on their country. They don't care that you're black. They just care that you're lawful, that you are a good citizen, that you're a good person. That's all. That's it. They don't care about your skin tone. White people don't care about your skin tone in today's day and age. They don't. They don't give a shit. Right? They do care if you act a certain way. But they care about that for anyone. They don't care if you're white, black, Asian. If you act like a ghetto ass person, whether you're white or Asian, they will call it out. That's what they care about, because that can affect their community, right? That can affect their city. That can affect their family, right? If you're acting like a criminal, if you're acting like a terrible person, that affects them. So that's why they care, right? That's why they talk about it, but they don't care about your skin tone. We can, in this country, we can all be white and they will still look at you sideways if you act like a criminal, right? If you act like a criminal, if you do shady shit, they will still look at you sideways. So it doesn't matter about race, right? It matters about behaviors and words. So that's what a lot of people can't handle, right? You can't handle being held accountable for your actions and words. You cannot handle being held accountable for your actions and words. And that's a problem with a lot of people. That is a problem with a lot of people, right? A lot of people can't handle it.
Hold on.
What's up? What's up, Kings?
You hear me?
Yes, I could. What's up, my brother?
Yeah, what's going on? So, honestly, however your opinion is how your opinion is, but I live in this black skin. I'm not just speaking for a black person when I'm not. I actually live in my skin, been living in it for the longest since I was born. So, they just came out and said how a guy had two broken legs, but it was ruled that he ended his own life on a tree. Can you explain why they would say that about a black person and this black person magically, just walked up on a tree and ended his own life, magically with two broken legs, and they ruled it, that it was in no foul play? Can you explain that real quick? I just
Okay.
want to hear that part. I want to hear your part on that so I can kind of understand you a little bit better.
Sure. Here's the thing, right? I don't discount crime. I don't discount people killing each other, right? I don't discount that. And I've said this many times. Our justice system is flawed. We have incompetence in our justice system, right? Incompetent police. I think one of the big problems in the black community is unsolved homicides. So much unsolved homicides, right? Crimes that are really unsolved, right? Murders that are unsolved. So 100% that's terrible. Now let's be honest. I didn't hear that case, so I can't necessarily comment too much on it because I don't know any details.
I feel like if you knew more about the cases that go in our community, you would kind of see why we say the stuff that we say.
Here's the thing, right? I did one video talking about it. I forgot the name, but I have a video of it. There was a guy that that one of the hangings that were talked about, right? They found out a video did record him from afar, right? He used a USB cord. USB cord. A lot of people say, "Oh, black people don't carry around ropes." Yeah, guess what? They can carry around USB cords. So this guy carried around a USB cord and hanged himself on a tree. He hanged himself on a tree. It was proven through surveillance cameras. They showed his family, and his family retract any kind of conspiracy theory, right? So his family did say that yes, he was suffering, and you know what? He did self-delete. So I'm not saying that, oh, white people never do, or anyone never murder, someone black or whatever. I don't know. But there is a case where people, when it happened, so people were saying that, oh, it's weird that, he was hanging on a tree. He self-deleted on a tree. Well, that one case was proven that he did self-delete. He used a USB cord. There was video proof, right? And that was proven that, no foul play. So we can't say 100%, oh, black people don't hang themselves from a tree. They don't, there's no way a black person could, hang himself from a tree. He has no rope or anything, right? That's a lot of narrative. Well, that one literally put a chink in that kind of argument. It does happen, okay? And,
but what does that have to do with the case that I'm talking about? The reason why I'm saying that is to go back to what I actually was talking about. The thing is, what I'm saying is the case that we actually do know where the guy had two broken legs. We're going to stay on that topic, right? We're not going to go to a whole nother one. No, we're going to stay on that one I just was talking about.
You know his name?
The guy had two broken legs, and they said that he did it himself, and they ruled it out. I'm only giving one of many different cases of stuff that happened, and there's actually cases of stuff that happened in my hometown that didn't even make the news. That I actually seen in my face that there was pale people that was doing stuff to my kind, and then the cops showed up, right? That was pale too, like them, and they literally beat the guy to death. I seen it with my own eyes. So it's not this again. This is nothing with conspiracies when I know this stuff. Because why? Because I live in my skin every single day.
What?
I
So
don't have to
you
just
knew
say
that
what goes
someone
on. You know what I'm saying?
hanged him? You knew someone
I
hanged
didn't say
him?
no. I said no. I'm talking about there was a case that happened and it got ruled out in my city where this guy. It was like a group of white tea people, white people, whatever you want to call them. They literally beat this black dude like almost to death. So then the cops got called. They came by, white, and they beat him to death with them. I seen it with my own eyes.
Are you talking
But it
about
got
Trey
ruled out.
Reed? Are you talking about Trey Reed? Is that the person?
No, nah.
You gotta give me a
It's
name.
another. It's another person. You're not gonna see it on there because they didn't. They didn't end up putting it on the news. But it happened because I seen it. That's what I'm
So
trying to tell you. A lot of things don't be on the news about us. That's what I'm trying to tell you. When you live in our skin color and you don't have to assume what a skin color go through, yeah, I actually know what happens.
so there's
I've
no
even
news
had to
about
go
him.
through
How do you know
racism at
how do you
5
know
years
that
old.
happened?
How do I know what happened with my own eyes when I seen it?
Oh, but you know the person. So you saw the person hanging.
I'm not. Let me say that one more time. Let me say that
Are
one
we
more
sticking
time,
on
please.
the hanging subject, or are we
No,
going to something different?
because again, because one, I'm saying because when I brought up the whole thing about the guy that had his two broken legs,
Yeah, I'm trying to
you
learn
went
about
to a
it.
whole other subject. You went to another subject about a USB cord,
No,
and I wasn't
I
even
was
talking
I was
about
still
that.
sticking on the
Since we
hanging
was going
person,
to
right?
different,
I was still
right,
sticking on
right.
someone getting
So
hanged.
yeah, right,
That's
right,
what I was
right.
talking about.
So since still we changing the conversation and the topic of what I was talking about when it came down to that, I just was saying, okay, let's just start going on to just different topics of different things that black people go through.
Okay, we can go to the
If
next
we want to
one.
do
Yeah,
that.
we can go to the next one. So you're saying
Right. So
police
then,
beatings?
so that was that one.
Police
Right. There was
beatings?
that one.
Uh,
Yeah, that happened, and it got ruled out. Didn't even get put on the news. But the people that was in my city and in that neighborhood, we knew about it. But we can't do anything about it because it got ruled out. So let's go to another one. Let's go to another one. Let's go to another one. Let's go back to. Well, you'll probably say that it happened that long ago, even though people from the Holocaust. Anyways. Let's talk about the 1980s, right? Yeah,
okay.
did you know about how that they literally dropped bombs in the neighborhood all because black people was trying to come together in Philly? You know about that, right?
You said they dropped bombs.
Yeah, you can look it up. You want to look it up? Look up
Okay.
Philly bombing. They dropped the bomb in the neighborhood. Look it up.
Who dropped the bomb?
The government.
Oh, the government dropped bombs in Philly.
Yep, and in the neighborhood. You can look it up.
And you say it's there in the 1980s.
It's like in the 1980s. Yeah, you didn't know about that? He said that's false. Okay. The Tulsa massacre was false too, by the way, huh, Nuke Dad, huh?
No, the Tulsa thing happened.
I'm
No,
not talking about you. I'm not talking
oh,
about you. I'm
okay.
talking about the guy in the comments.
Okay. I'm looking it up. I'm gonna be. I didn't heard of it, so I'm gonna look it up. Mm, okay, yeah. May 13th, 1985, police department dropped a improvised bomb from a helicopter onto a row house. Uh, okay, Cobb's West Philly. Okay, the house was occupied by members of MOVE, a Black Liberation and Back to Nature group founded by John Africa. Okay, police
Hmm.
surrounded the house to serve arrest warrants after a long standoff. Complaints from neighbors from hours of gunfire, tear gases, water cannons. Officials decided to drop explosives to destroy a fortified bunker on the roof. The bomb ignited. Okay, 11 people died inside the MOVE house. 61. Okay, only 2 people from MOVE house survived. Oh well. mm, Okay. I mean, it was a targeted thing. It, You made it sound like they dropped it on the neighborhood.
But still, did you? What was it targeted about? By the
Uh,
Black Liberation Group that they called it Black Liberation Group, of course, to make it, whatever. But this is the stuff that I'm trying to tell you, man. This is just a sprinkle of what's going on. I'm just telling you sprinkles of what's going on in the community. You can do more research on your own, but this is what I'm saying. It goes deeper than us just saying certain things when a lot of us live it. I literally had to be racially profiled at the age of 4 because they thought that I went in and stole something that I didn't even steal, and I put it on my dead kids. So again, this is what I say. When you live my skin color, right? You don't have to just say what a community do. When you actually live the skin color and you know what's going on in your own skin color, it kind of is a little bit different when you hear people saying that people just saying stuff. Because it's just like you got to understand these people made racist be a thing anyways. Racists didn't come from us. Racism didn't come from us. We didn't make the whole thing about race to begin with. You can even look that up about who made racism, who made race a thing and begin with. But again, I do respect your views because you're respectful. I respect your views and I respect you. I just wanted to come up and get my mind as a black melanated king. But I'm gonna drop because I gotta go to the
no, yeah.
gym.
Thank you,
But I did
thank
want
you
to
for
let you know
giving your
that.
opinion. You also told me 2 things I never knew. So thank you.
Yeah, all respect to you, Drew.
Now, here's my thing, right? I mean, I wish he stayed on so I could talk to him, so I could have some rebuttals, right? Now, they like the whole bombing thing was like the city later paid civil settlements, and the Philadelphia Council formally apologized. So they knew it was wrong. This is a thing where no one's saying that they don't know certain things were wrong. They like Philadelphia knew that it was wrong, right? They knew that. This is what I'm saying. I've never discounted the past, right? I've never discounted when I don't know certain groups do certain things that are racist in kind of context, if that. My problem, it doesn't help, right? It doesn't help the narrative. So one of the things he said, right? Oh, you know what? When I was a certain age, or what is it, 4, people thought I was stealing. Well, here's the thing, right? Sad thing, right? At a young age, you shouldn't have that stereotype and stigma on you. The problem is that your community doesn't hold, right, the problem accountable. Doesn't see the accountability. Guess what? There's a high crime rate in your community. There's a high crime rate in the black community. Okay. And when you don't fight against that narrative, right? Show you that no, we don't commit crime. We don't steal. We don't do this, right? We are law-abiding citizens, right? You're yapping and wrong. If you think I'm wrong, bring it on, right? If you think I'm wrong, you can always come up, right? Bobby, if you think I'm wrong, you can always bring it up. This is the problem, right? Is that we don't what you're talking about. If you don't, you can walk, you can leave, right? You can always leave. This is a thing where we don't talk about being accountable for your actions or the actions of your community. This is the problem with the black community right now, right? This is a problem with the black community. They don't see that they represent the community. Okay, Bobby, what am I wrong?
You're wrong about saying that we don't take accountability. I feel like a lot of people from the outside are always speaking on what's going on the inside. If you was on the inside, you would realize that black people do hold these people who are committing crimes accountable, right?
Example.
You will see a lot. Example. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. When people in the neighborhood, let's say you was like a drug dealer, you're a thief or something like that, you're doing bad. People will like literally shutting you outside, like, yo, we don't want you around, or that type of stuff be happening. We do try to like spread growth and stuff. There are a lot of events and programs and stuff inside the hood to try to help people like grow, like maybe like, you know what I'm saying, activities to keep them off the streets and all that type of stuff. We actually try to do better in our community all over around. The thing is, right, we don't have the fundings that come into our areas to really be able to go above and beyond in these type of stuff. And I don't think you understand that, or people who are not of color understand these type of things, because a lot of you guys' lives is already on easy mode. If it's not on the easy mode, there's a lot of help around y'all. So y'all look at everything else as complaining, nagging, and stuff like that, versus actually going inside and seeing the actual problem and seeing that people are trying and seeing that people are trying to progress. Y'all don't look at that. Y'all look at talking points to try to like push.
Let's
this
break it down.
agenda.
Let's break it down. Do you believe that only black people are poor?
I don't believe only black people are poor, but I believe
Okay.
their system is set up to make sure to keep black people poor. Yes.
No, but this is the thing, right? If you believe that other communities are poor, right? You're saying that there's no funding, there's no support. What's the support for other communities?
The same. Okay, let me break it down like this, right? What community is the poorest though, right? You think when it comes to the poor rate, is it higher or lower compared to the white? Higher or lower compared to the Asians? Higher or lower compared to the Indians? You let me know.
Well, I think Native Americans are the poorest.
Native Americans are the poorest. Okay,
I believe they're the poorest.
We can even say that, right? But with all the stuff that they had went through, they were still, you know what I'm saying, they was reparated, was they not? Did they not receive any type of reparation? Yes or no?
They received federal land.
Has the black people received anything for their part that they took during slavery and all that type of stuff? Have we received anything? You let me know.
Have you received anything? In my opinion, right? This is my personal opinion, right? Billions have been funneled into the black community, right? With colleges, with schooling, welfare systems. I mean, like housings, many kind of different kind of aids. It's not like there's no money have gone into the black community, right? I agree that there's no specific, right? Name reparations going into black community. I can't agree to that, but it's not like it's disingenuous to say that there's no money that has gone into the black community. Right. Okay. So there has been billions of money spent trying to help the black community.
Name one situation.
One situation?
Yeah.
HSBCUs. HSBCUs are literally state government funded colleges.
But these colleges were not started because the government was trying to do better for the black community. These colleges were started off of the black people. You get what I'm saying? I
literally said they're government funded. They're not black people funded.
But look, every college is then government funded.
No, they're not.
But what I'm saying, look, listen, bro. What I'm saying to you is, right, you can't really name a time where the government actually like sit there and really put money into and a lot of people are in here trying to talk about some welfare. White people are the people on welfare the most. Like they receive welfare the most. This is the same thing when people came out talking about DEI. Wait, hold on. About DEI and stuff. White women are the biggest what's it called? The biggest people on that was for DUI and stuff like that. They received the most DEI jobs. It was white women. So my thing here is that, right, y'all put black people as this poster child for certain shit, but then don't understand nothing. It always seems like people are complaining and stuff like that. Now, don't get me wrong. Some people do be complaining, but y'all never see where people are coming from because y'all don't live it. I can't try to tell you from your POV because you think white privilege isn't real, right? But me and you for sure know white privilege is real.
It's not. You just literally said, right? You just literally said white people make up most of the people who on welfare. How's that white privilege?
What do you mean?
When they're poor, when they are the most poor, that they use government assistance.
They're also the most people in the fucking United States. I'm not for cussing, but they're also the most people in the America. You're right.
You're correct. So really, is it privilege or is it just that they make up the most of the population?
No, so let me say, example, starts, bro.
Example, do you let's say when
head starts?
But example, if do you even use like in Africa, right? Is that African privilege? In China, is that Chinese privilege?
What? Well, no, but America is not a fucking white land.
How is it not? What land is it? They make up 60% of the population.
Yo, I think you're really lost. Okay.
Well, whose land is it?
The Native Americans, duh.
They lost it.
Yo, Lord have mercy.
I mean, I mean, name me the countries, right? That hasn't been like conquered by others. I mean, like it happens all across the world.
Hold on 1 second. We'll go with this. Nobody saying your life won't be hard. Your race just isn't a factor. Race has been a factor in this country forever. I don't know why do y'all act like that is not a real thing.
I don't disagree that race hasn't been a factor.
Race,
I agree. Today, it's
always
not.
has. Yes, it is.
Prove it how today
Yes,
it is.
This is
what
look.
right does a white person have that you don't have?
I feel like the right to a lot of times you don't have the right to even look at policing, right? If I'm in the black neighborhood, I'm more likely to get pulled over, stopped, and sent to jail just because I'm fucking black versus if you was in the same neighborhood.
Do you know there's more
Not
white
you,
people
but white
in jail or white people being killed by police than black
Oh
people
my
have?
gosh.
So
Not-
how's that a privilege? They're
It's-
more in jail than black
Are
people.
you-
They've been
right,
killed
because
more
there's
by
more-
black than
right,
black
because
than
white
black
people commit more fucking crimes. Of course they're in jail more.
So where's the
What are we talking about?
privilege? What's the
What are you-
privilege?
What is you? Oh my god! I don't think you're listening at all. If white
literally-
people commit more crimes, yes, they're going to be in jail more. What I'm
Okay.
saying to you is, right? Do you know that black people make up like 80% of exonerations? My point is, they are more likely to get pulled over, put in the system for doing stuff they didn't do off the fact that they're black.
Okay, explain
you
to me
not
the
understanding
homicide
this?
rates then.
The homicides rate, right? The homicides rate is that there are people in poor communities, criminals killing other criminals.
Correct. Oh, you say
Right.
criminals killing other criminals?
Right.
I'm pretty sure
Right.
that the homicide rates isn't made up of just dead criminals.
I'm pretty sure majority of the homicides rate, because I know what you're talking about to be what the 13%, the 50 thing, right? What y'all don't understand is, right, in the hood, there are not people who are just going around killing innocent people. That's white culture. They don't do that.
Just
It's
kidding.
usually
Okay,
a gangbanger
do you have
killing
numbers for
another
that?
gangbanger. This is how
Because
this goes.
there's no numbers to show you.
White people kill each other at an 80% rate. Like, why do you act like you don't know this? 80% of murders by a white person is done to another white person. And anywhere where there's a bunch of people of the same race, the murder within those people are going to be high. You act like if you want to, like you said, if you want to Africa right now, if you want to China right now, is that Chinese on Chinese crime? Isn't
Why
it just
is it
fucking crime?
higher in the black community? Why is the homicide rates higher in the black community?
Because
Even
gangs are higher
though
in the black
white
community,
people make
poverty
up
is higher
even
in the-
higher population.
Poverty is higher in the black community. Gangs are higher in the black community. Education is lower in the black
Being
community.
poor doesn't automatically make you a killer.
Yes, it does. Because if you look at
Show
all
it
the
to me.
red states, if you look at all the red states, look up any red states right now where let's say the education is low, like Alabama, the murder rate is high. Why do you all act like y'all don't know this type of stuff? Go look it up. Any red state with a low education, the murder rate is high. Anywhere there's poverty, the murder rate will be high. The crime rate will be high. You know why? Because when people don't have a means to get money, they will find a means to get it. This is why you look at anywhere. If you look at Brazil, in the favelas, the murder rate and everything is high. They're poor. If you look at in Haiti, where they're poor, the murder rate is high. Like, what are you talking about? If you look at even back in historical in Europe, when they were poor, the murder rate was high. Every time there is low income and there's poverty, it's always backed up by violence. It don't matter what race it is. Y'all talking point is always this 1356, but let's talk about what white people do to each other. 80% of murders by a white man is committed by another white man.
This is the thing where you care about what white people do to each other.
I'm not care about what white
You
people
don't
doing to
care.
each other.
So
You
you
care
don't
about what
care.
black people are doing to each other. You're bringing up the why is this in the black community? Why is this in the black community? Why is it in the white community? Why is it in the Asian community? The
This is the
same
thing
thing
where
that goes
it's
on the
because-
black
so
community
you see
goes
this, you
on
see
in-
because you shift it, right? So
I know,
do
I'm
you
not
care
shifting,
what
I'm
happens
answering-
in other communities or you don't?
No,
You
I
don't.
don't
So-
care.
so
Y'all
that
care
means-
about what happened.
But
Bro, listen.
people only care
Listen.
what happens in the black community is because you
Right.
shift it, right? You care about, oh, look at the white people. This is the thing.
Right.
It doesn't solve what's
No.
happening in the black community.
I blocked out your talking points before you could get there. You were trying to go on the route of the 1350 thing, and I blocked it by
It's not.
giving you facts
It doesn't
that
change the
everywhere
homicide
there's
rates.
poverty, there's crime.
It does-
So once I blocked that, now you're trying to turn it around. You can't do that, bro. You gotta understand. Anywhere there's poverty, there's crime. It don't matter what country it is. What if you put a bunch of poor white people inside a community, there will be crimes. You can type all day, look it up. Anywhere there's high poverty rate, there is crime. Look up in any country.
This is the thing. I don't say that there's no crime in impoverished places, right? That's not what I'm saying. Okay, what I'm saying is that it doesn't 100% equal that. You can have some self-control.
No, for sure, you can have self-control, but why do y'all want us to have self-control when other races don't even have self-control? I
Prove
feel
that.
like
How's the race? Other races don't have self-control.
white people was burning people cribs because they felt a type of way. Look at what the hell be going on right now in America, bro.
What's going on right now in America? How many?
What's going on right now in America?
Show it. Tell me.
Oh, let's talk about it. Let's talk about January 6th. Is that self-control?
How many black people died during January 6th? How many people died during January 6th?
We're talking about self-control.
Okay.
Is that
what about
self-control, or
BLM?
is that
What about
emotional?
BLM riots?
BLM riots. Oh, thank you for bringing that up. Now let's really talk about it. Yeah, BLM riots, at least BLM riots, right? It has a real meaning, a real cause behind it.
So you thought it was a cause. You thought it's meaningful. But literally the destruction was, what's the difference?
Okay, so let's talk about it, right? Let's go all the way. Let's go the BLM stuff. You know how it got so big? Because this go all the way back to Trayvon Martin. When he was followed home and got killed, people sat down. We sat down. We tried to protest. It was peaceful. Then you had Mike Brown died 2014. We sat back. We was peaceful. Then it kept going on. And Tamir Rice. It kept going on. Then you had what's it? Castro, whatever, the guy, legal gun, everything in his car, he got killed. We was sat down. It was peaceful. It got to the point where people was fed the fuck up. And once people got fed up, you know what they did? What the same thing that every race do once they are fed up. Every time anybody get fed up, what do? They destroy everything. This is just not the BLM matter, riot and all that type of stuff. This is throughout history. Name a time where people had gotten fed up and they did not destroy it, burn stuff down, and advocate it as hard as they possibly could, because obviously peaceful was not working.
You literally condemned January 6th. And now you're saying it's okay? It's okay.
I'm not saying it's okay.
Then I condemn January 6th. I don't agree to it. I'm not like, let's do that. No. So if I condemn January 6th, I'll condemn all BLM riots as well.
But there's a difference between January 6th and BLM riots, right?
What's the difference? How you feel? I mean, people who did January 6th, they had their own motives. They had their own feelings.
What was the base of both of both events? One was because they thought they thought the election was stolen from them, and they went and stormed the Capitol. Versus people who are armed or not armed, sitting there in handcuffs and getting killed by police back to back to back to back to back and not getting justice. There are two different things. Me feeling the type of way because, let's say, oh, you said some mean words to me, versus you going and killing somebody that I love and I react to that, versus, oh yeah, you said some mean words and I'm gonna. There's two different things.
But the level is like you don't know. January 6th wasn't the level of like crazy ass riot. So
yes, it was.
How? What's the amount of they
stormed the Capitol building? That is a government building. How many BLM people were storming government buildings, bro?
Let's see. We can see. They've destroyed millions of property. So
I say government official buildings. The thing is, you came up here unprepared with talking points. You came up here with talking points. You're unprepared.
Nothing. What I literally said it right. This is the problem where you care about one more than the other.
No, I don't care about one more than the other.
You literally just said it.
No, I don't care about one more than the other.
And this is the thing where I've said this before, right? This is the problem where racism should not be the issue, because you riot, right? You riot, you protest when a cop kills someone black, which is terrible. Never says not.
Right.
But yet the sheer amount of unsolved homicides, the amount of black on black crimes, you don't really care about. It's not even the same level. The level of outrage is not the same.
It's not the same.
And we can look at the numbers, right? The amount of black people, right, killed by police is within a couple hundred, while the amount of black on black is thousands.
Right. All right.
So now the protests, that level of outrage, the riots with one, and I'm not saying that it's not right. Yeah, you should care when someone of your community is dying, no matter what.
Okay. Do you live in these communities where innocent black people are killed?
I do.
Okay. Let's say you do live in one, right? Let's say you do. Majority of the time in black communities, when there are
wait, before you got that, Minneapolis protesters overran and set fire to 3rd police precincts
Yeah.
Portland, Oregon, federal courthouse was targeted. So plenty of BLMs, right? I mean, like literally that was proven wrong. So plenty of
Well,
BLM
who is
riots
storming the Capitol? Like, I don't think you really understand. Okay.
Targeted federal buildings,
All right,
government
cool.
buildings.
Police station and stuff like that. All right, cool. I'll give you that.
Okay.
But what I'm saying to you is, right? In most cases, when black innocent people are killed in the hood, there are protests against that shit. Y'all don't know because it's not national news. Because why? The news want to always make it seem like, oh yeah, they only react when it's a white or black.
Is it social media news? It's not posted on social media like that.
It don't need to be posted. If it's happening, it's happening because the target audience is right there.
So, but other things need to be made viral. Other things need to be posted online.
If you having a problem inside, of your house, right? Or you going to go online and talk about it?
Why wouldn't you bring awareness to it?
Why would I? If I'm having a problem with my mom, why would I go on social media? Like, what the hell? What is that supposed to solve? Is it me
because what if it doesn't solve anything, right? What if you've tried, you've constantly tried, and it solves nothing? I mean, like literally, that's usually the point where we bring national attention to it. We bring as much attention to it. I mean, we see it every day on social media. Plenty of people post things in their private life to bring more attention to it. It happens all the time.
If you guys are looking for that type of stuff, you will see it all the time. You will see people protesting. I remember, let's say it was a girl who got killed, like where I live at, right? You know what my city did? We got on the news. They marched for her. They raised money. They try to make sure these type of stuff happens, right? But no, they're not going to be national news, right? But it happens. This is what I be trying to tell y'all. And inside the hood, this is what y'all don't be understanding. Criminals are killing criminals, and sometimes innocent bystander might get in the way. This is what a blood trying to kill a crip is different from me waking up and going inside of a school and shooting everybody. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, it's two different things there.
If I can prove to you, right, that these criminals are killing innocent people, do you concede?
Do you not hear what I just said?
I mean, you said criminals are killing criminals.
I said criminals are killing criminals. There are sometimes where innocence might get in the way.
But do you know the ratios? Criminals. Do you know the ratio?
I'm pretty sure it's higher that criminals are killing criminals versus the ratio you're trying.
I'm just asking.
This guy's gonna say so two. Hold on, give me 1 second, host. This guy says so two gangsters it's okay to murder. If there are two people who are committing crimes and they kill each other, that's better for our community. That's better for everybody else because those two people are not in the way anymore. You know that makes sense, but because you're filled with hate, you trying to act like it don't make sense. Are you slow? Are you slow? If you take two negatives out of the community, right? Won't that make it a little bit better? Stop acting like that don't make sense. Stop acting like that don't make sense. So it doesn't. So if we have two child predators, because let me speak in something that you know. You know, this is like the higher your crown. If we have two child predators inside of a community and two of them predators ended up killing each other and they both died, does that not make the community a little bit safer now that those two child predators are gone? Because anything just to try to debunk what I'm saying. Either way, continue, host.
Well, the thing is that there's no I'm not saying that it does show that by logic, right? Two people do know each other in the homicide thing. It doesn't show that if they were already criminals to begin with, right?
I'm telling you, I know.
I'm not saying that you're wrong or right? But this is a thing where to say something, you have to have data. Personal experience does not, like how you feel does not necessarily make it national statistics, right? What you think doesn't mean like it's happening, I don't know, in Jersey or in California, right? I'm not saying you're wrong.
But it is though. No,
you got to show it. You have to prove it.
I'm wrong. Okay.
I mean, if you say, I mean, I'm not saying I don't disagree that criminals could be killing criminals, but
if you look at all the words right now that are outside, ops and all this other type of stuff. You think they're calling people who are on the street every day, mind their business, ops?
I'm not disagreeing that yes, probably they're criminals, right? But we don't have numbers to say that these are criminals.
You don't need numbers to understand certain bases of things, though.
But then you're just
numbers
going
to
off your
understand certain
personal
racism,
views,
man.
right? Your own
It's
opinion.
not really my personal views. These are facts. These
of
are
what?
facts that
Facts of your life.
the facts that okay, cool. Since we talking about black community, inside the black community, right, all over, everywhere, even if you go anywhere else, wherever there is gangs are trying to kill gangs. Right or wrong?
You're right. I don't disagree with that.
Okay, so let's say, and this is how this might happen. If I'm trying to, let's say I'm a blood and I'm trying to crip over here, but he's around a bunch of kids, and I still end up shooting and hit one of the kids. The kid was never my intended target, but he was.
But
So,
you know
yeah,
the problem with
innocent
your,
bystander could-
but you know the problem with your anecdotal experience, right? Because I know someone, right? Not a gang related, no nothing, right? He had an argument with somebody. Argument got heated. So they walked away. That guy went home, grabbed a gun, went there and killed the guy. Neither were gang related. Neither were actual, like, they're not doing anything criminal besides he went home, grabbed a gun and shot the guy.
Right.
So it's a caveat, right? It's like, I'm not disagreeing with you, right? But the problem is I could bring up anecdotal experience. And this is, again, the people I'm talking about is black, right? These are stories told me, right? I have black mothers, right? Black mothers saying their son not a criminal, but got shot, right? Got killed. Right. So it's like, I'm not saying you're wrong, right? Because you make logical sense. I'm not saying you don't. But the problem is it's anecdotal, right? It's hard because I can say personal experiences by black mothers, by stories by black people telling me as well that, this person is not a criminal, still got killed by shot. So it's that's the problem when it comes to anecdotal experience, right? That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying you're wrong, right? You make sense. I'm not saying you don't.
Okay, so what I can say to that is, right, a lot of mothers is not going to come on here and talk about how their kids was this and that, even if the kids was in the streets. Sometimes a lot of people don't even know their kids are in the streets and they get killed and they think they're innocent. If we look at let's say we look at school shooters, right? When they shoot, when they do the crime, do them bombs in the families in the news, not make it seem like these were like, they was like good people. They were great people. We don't know what happened to them. Well, could this happen? This is the type of stuff that could happen, right? And we know that. We understand that, right? You could be out of the loop as a parent on what your kid actually has going on. I'm not taking away from your experience of, because that's happened too. Two people be mad at each other. Oh, I feel the type of way. I'm coming back, I'm gonna kill you, and they don't have nothing to do with gang at all. But what I'm trying to say to you is, right, inside the hood where there's poverty, there's usually gangs, and with gang culture come a lot of killing. I mean, the killing is usually based on gang versus gangs. This has nothing to do with innocent people. A lot of people who are getting killed in the black community usually gangs versus gangs. A lot of times when white people do this talking point of 1356, 9 times out of 10, they have never experienced any type of violence done to them by a black person. Their only violence they've ever experienced have been done by a white person.
No, yeah, crime is proximity. I don't disagree with that. Crime is proximity.
Exactly. So you can't. So when they say some stuff like, "Oh yeah, no, but you guys kill each other," no, gangs are killing each other the same way how when the Aryan Brotherhood have problems with other people or Hells Angels and whatever have problems with other biker gangs, they kill each other at a high rate.
This is also the problem, right? It's like you're right. Gangs do kill each other. I'm not saying that, but we know, I mean, I don't know about you, maybe you don't know it, but I've heard plenty of mothers, plenty of people in the community, right? Their kids are part of this, their brothers, their fathers, whoever, right? So these are, whether you say they're gangs or not, these are men that are in part of their community that are dying, that are getting killed. That, you know what? It's like, maybe all these people, all gang related, all criminals should die. I don't disagree. Maybe they should all kill each other, but then wouldn't that be a big hit, right? Wouldn't that be a big issue to the community where we have all these brothers, sisters, brothers, uncles, fathers, whoever are getting shot and killed by each other? I'm pretty sure that would not be a good thing.
For sure, it would not be a good thing but I'm gonna give you an example of what you were saying, right? People being a part of the community. It was a kid, Noah. I forgot his last name. Noah. He's from Philly. He was a straight A student, starting a basketball team, one of the highest SAT scores in his whole school, but he was killing people and got killed. He was in the gang, but he was still a star student. You think his mom got up there and said my son was doing this? No. His mom got over there and said my son was in his shows. His shows, the track record shows. Basketball athlete, well-educated young man, but was killing. He lived in a impoverished community.
Can I
He saw.
like can I
Go ahead,
let's see if we can find some common ground, right? Don't you think that's a problem? That these whether they're gay and affiliated or not, these young black men, black boys are ending up going down these paths. I mean, like, even if you're poor, you don't have to, right, do these that kind of things.
Right. And you can say you don't have to, but sometimes that's the only option you have.
Is it? Because there's plenty of young black men who come into the scene, who live in the same neighborhoods, same situation, single mothers, poor, and they make it. They do better. They do better education. They go better paths. They do different paths. So it's not like you are shackled. You have to 100% have to do this, because there's examples where the same people in the neighborhood living with you, they've gone on different paths. So it's not 100% you have to do it.
No, it's not 100% you have to do it, but if we live in the same neighborhood, in the same circumstances, our circumstances can still be different. I could raise with a single mother, you could raise with a single mother, but I could be way more poor than you and a less motivating mother than you, less loving home than you, but we still live in the same oppressed situation. So now my thing is, I'm getting eviction notice, but your mom might be hustling just enough to make sure you get by so you can be able to chase your dream of going to school. I have to be a provider at the age of 12, but we live in the same neighborhood. We live in the same circumstances. So yeah, now I'm looking for money at the age of 12 because I need this stuff to work now. Versus
but by the same example you gave, it could be the opposite, where the person who made it out, he could have it worse than you.
Right.
So that
it could be the opposite.
Yeah. So but in my opinion, this is the thing where
that it's ever the opposite.
I don't know. I've heard plenty of situations where it's terrible situations. They lived in terrible situations and they still made it out. But my thing is, like, I go back to it. It's at the end of the day, I don't disagree, right? I don't disagree that, bad situations happen and, you're in terrible situations. But at the end of the day, it is still accountability, right? It's what your actions, right? It's what you do to make your life better, what you do to fight against it. Because I know plenty of young black men who and they told me their stories where it's really shitty stories, right? Like exactly what you said, right? Shitty parents, single mothers, drugs, all this stuff. And yet now they're telling me in their age, like they're in their 20s, they're 6-figure earners, all this shit. So it's like I don't discredit the things you said. I don't. But this is why what I'm trying to get over, right? At the end of the day, I understand it, but it's like there's a certain point where we have to because I want better for more people, right? For more young black men, young black women. And I believe that if we have this type of mindset, right, and we don't try to actually combat it, I think things won't ever change.
Okay, I'm gonna say this, right. All right, I'm not saying what you're saying. You're right, but let me say this from my own experience, right? I used to live in the hood. I grew up with my friends, right? But I went to private school off a scholarship, right? But I was still outside with my friends doing all the bad things. But I still went to private school. I still had a track scholarship. I still did everything, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying it can't happen. It can happen, but there are distractions within the community. Now, if we have better stuff to do, right? There are not, I know from the outside looking in, I swear it always feel like people feel like there are money being put into the hood. It's not. You got to think about it. We got greedy governments, even with like the mayors and all that type of stuff. A lot of people they're all corrupt in a lot of places. And instead of people noticing like, oh no, it's not the people, it might be the government officials, or it might be this going on, this, that, and 30, yada, yada, yada. What the white people scream is, accountability. Well, I
mean, like, what you just said, right? Don't you think that hypothetically, right? If, like you said it, right? You had this, private school, a track scholarship. Right. What if I'm not saying that you're on the wrong path or anything, but hypothetically, if another black man or whatever did the same thing with you, maybe if accountability, he didn't hang out with like the bad crowd. Wouldn't that be, another situation where don't hang out with these types of people? I mean, isn't that accountability?
No, for sure, that's accountability. But my thing is, right, I was really trying to respond to the they did it guy.
I don't know about that.
Oh yeah, when we talk about accountability, right? Y'all always want us to take accountability of and all of that, right?
Everyone should.
What
Everyone
the hell you
should.
talking? Right. When do white people take accountability throughout history? You let me know that right now, because currently, right now, the government is trying to wash American history and make it seem like y'all was the fucking heroes, and y'all was not. Y'all was nothing but nuisance and violent people coming from Europe, giving diseases and hurting everybody around the world. So when people act like you shouldn't hate white people,
this is the thing where I want us to stop thinking like that, because you got to think about this. Well, let me say
I'm not
this.
coming
Right?
at you.
Can I
I'm
ask you
talking
this?
to the they did it guy, so he can understand his history, because I don't think he knows his history as well. When do you guys take accountability for the fascism? When do you guys take accountability for the famine? When do you guys take accountability for slavery? For all the destruction, the KKK? When do you guys take accountability for the rapes? When do you guys take accountability for all of that? Y'all don't. Because
But do you think that
this
is the thing where
read a book? I'm more
gotta,
educated than you, bro.
We gotta stop that, because this is the thing where
If you want,
how
you can
we
get up
fight.
there. I'm more educated than you.
Because we will constantly fight against each other in this kind of mindset, right? Because I mean, like, okay, let me say this, right? Do you think that if 100% of white people during slavery didn't want slavery to end, do you think it would have ended? 100% of white people didn't want slavery to end. Do you think it would have ended?
Well, let me say it like this. Yes, it still would have ended, because people are starting to. Let me finish.
Okay, go ahead.
You know why? You know why it was ended, right? Because people was fighting back. They was fighting back. The black people started fighting back, started escaping, started doing everything, and they had no choice but to let them go. Abraham Lincoln never wanted to free the slaves.
If 100%, I mean, do you know the I mean, like, during that time, it was 90. It would have been 9 against 1. Right? It doesn't like, by numbers alone. You think that, let's say, the all population of black people during that time fought back versus all population of white people, you would think that they would have won.
Yes, look at Haiti. What are we talking about?
Is Haiti 9-1 white people?
It was. Haiti defeated the French with a little army. Listen, that's how they gained their freedom. It would have happened. It would have happened. It was happening. That's why slavery
wasn't Haiti
ended.
majority black?
Come on. Yes, Haiti is majority black. It was owned by the French. They had to fight off the French army in order for them to.
I'm not talking about the French army. If they fought against all of France,
they did.
They didn't. All of France wasn't in Haiti. All of France wasn't in Haiti.
Freedom and all. I'm trying to tell you, bro. Look up, right?
This is the thing where you're not making logical sense, right? Because like I said, it doesn't make sense for a small in America, right? This is we're demonizing all people. That's the problem. There were plenty of people who did not support slavery.
We're demonizing
That's why
white motherfuckers right there, not you, bro. Them, these 3 people right here, because being racist, you have to have a low IQ.
I get it. I mean, I get it, but by attacking them,
all low IQ people.
I get it, but by attacking them, you're including other white people as well.
Bro, are you white?
Okay, so racism against one person is fine, but against another person isn't? We have to be consistent with how we treat people, right?
You can't be racist. You can't be racist against white people.
God, that's insane.
You can't.
How can't you?
Because I feel like white people did everything to our history to deserve for people not to like them.
How? Like, I'm not saying that there weren't bad white people. I'm not saying that. But it is insane to say that racism would still be here if there were no white people supporting, going against it. Same thing with Jim Crow. Same thing with the Civil Rights Act. White people, the majority, right, did support. They were standing behind it. So I think it's insane to demonize everyone.
It was because of, like, for money and gains. I'm trying to tell you, half of the stuff that white people did not do it because they wanted to do it. And racism is still going on to this day. Now it's just suppressed. But when Trump came in office, a lot of people started being racist with their chest. White people throughout history, you can't listen. I know what you're saying. Oh, white people didn't want the black people free. They would never have been free. I get your talking point. I understand. But I think eventually they would have still gotten free because people would have started to rebel. They would have started to rebel. After you start killing after you kill a few slave masters, they would have come on, bro. Hold on, wait 1 second. You talking about racism? All you guys talk about the country is filled with racism. Race is all we talk about because you guys made everything about race. Do you not know your history? Do you not know your history? Yo, tell these.
I mean,
bro. But
I don't. Yeah, but I mean,
yeah.
thank you for the conversation. I just,
No,
I
yeah,
just think that we
yeah.
gotta. I don't know. I just want us to. I don't know. I don't think that this is how we should be doing things, right? I just
No,
really
I think
don't.
for sure. Peace and love for everybody.
Yeah.
Besides racist, I don't like racist people. So peace
No,
and love for everybody.
Yeah. I agree. Thank you.
These talking points are crazy. I think you should make your talking points more based on like your race and not the black community, because we already have our own talking points and stuff like that don't really.
You guys
include
you're still
y'all.
because, but you gotta listen to what you just said, right? Racism is still a thing. All this stuff, like really talking about my let's say my community does what, right? If you look at the stats, Asian community are doing better than white people,
right?
And many stats. So really, this is the thing where we live in a country, right? I mean, we both live in America. We live around each other, right? I hate this thing where, we shouldn't care. Don't care about black people. Are you kidding me? That's stupid. This is why I even talked about what you're talking about against white people. We live with each other. We're not going to, it's like, you're not going to move to Africa. I'm not going to move to Asia, right? It's just like, it's asinine not to care. I mean, you don't like if I don't care, but that's up to you.
No, I'm not saying
I
you
live
can't
in a
care.
black community, right?
I'm not saying you can't care at all.
So,
I'm just saying,
is the thing where I
these
just
talking
don't.
points advocates for racist people to come up and say stuff that they don't know about. You get what I'm saying?
I've yet to talk. I've yet to come up to talk to racist people. I mean, the chat is different, right? The chat is different. I don't control them, but I've yet to have a racist person come up and because I would debate a racist person. I don't give a shit.
I had to outperform everyone to get the same chance a lazy POC get on a win. But
yeah, I don't control the chat. Right?
Hold on, wait, but you're literally lying.
I would fight against.
And if you feel like you still have to fight in the countries that were built for you to succeed, that just shows that you're a loser. Like, you know what I'm saying? The country was built for you to succeed, and you still are not succeeding. You're a loser. You don't have no type of fight in you to do anything. You're not oppressed at all. White people are not oppressed. I don't know why y'all be trying to throw that like y'all are oppressed. You guys are not oppressed. You guys run majority office. You guys run majority everything, like in this country, and you're still feel like you're oppressed. You're a loser. That's all it is, bro.
I mean, that's I don't know. I don't really agree to that. I don't. I mean, I agree that, you know what, this country is made for the wealthy. But if you can make it, there's wealthy people in all groups, right? In America, there's more middle class to millionaires to billionaires than even Africa, right? There are more black millionaires and middle class black people in America than even all of Africa.
That's a lie.
That is I actually looked it up. That is
a lie.
I mean, you can look it up.
You really believe that there are more wealthy black people in America than there is in Africa?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, you can look it up. I took the time to actually Google it. I mean, maybe Google's wrong. I'm not saying that Google's always right, but I actually look it up. I actually, looked up the statistics, the numbers of how many people are middle class to wealthy in America, and compared how many in Africa. So,
literally, the richest man who ever lived on Earth was from Africa. It was a Muslim black man from Africa, Mansa Rich Musa.
Okay,
he was the richest man ever. No, I'm not talking. I'm talking to they did it. I'm naming that. Elon Musk is African. He's literally one of the richest. Like, the thing is, y'all don't really have a picture of what Africa looked like. A lot of people don't, right? Because Africa is so diverse.
No, Africa has many nations. There's many nations in Africa.
East, exactly. So, yeah. But yeah. It was nice talking to you.
Yeah.
Bro.
Thank you, bro.
Appreciate you having me up on here, man.
No, it was a great conversation. I liked it. So, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm trying to have one at a time. I'm not looking to a whole bunch of people ganging up on me. So, if you have a disagreement, we could have a chat. Because I don't want people to talk all over each other. So I'm having one at a time. If you could wait, great. If you can't, it's all good too. Right? If you could wait, that would be awesome. If you can't, I understand. What's up? What's up?
Hello? Yeah, I have to agree with you. You're right. We are the richest black person. That dude is a Pan-African. Don't listen to him. We are the richest black people in the world. We got more money than every single black person put together. Not only that, we got 50,000 patents in America. Over 50,000 patents. We got way more than that. A lot of times during slavery, we weren't allowed to get patents. They even had to pass a law. The slave masters were stealing our patents. They knew it was the slave who created it. They had to change the patent law behind that. So, there's no comparison. We got more money than all of them put together. More millionaires than every black person put together. I've been around the world, and I see how other black people live, and it's the worst thing you ever seen in your life. It look like Nightmare on Elm Street. I've been to DR. I've been to Colombia. I've been to all these countries. They live horrible. They ain't got no plumbing. They ain't got no clean drinking water. They ain't got no electricity. The electricity go out 3, 4 times a week, even if they pay their bill or not. They don't have water pressure, so when they wipe their butt, they got to put it in the trash can. They can't put it down the toilet.
Yes.
So that man is a Pan-African. He telling lies. They're telling lies.
No.
He needs to go leave the country, see how other black people live, and he'll cry. He be like, damn, y'all live like this?
No. This is the thing where I see black excellence so much in America. And I don't discount the past. I've said it's an ugly history, but I think it does injustice to so many people if we don't recognize the achievements and we don't push forward. I think we're too shackled to the past to be victims. I think we should continue to push back black excellence and see that that the black community is doing great and they should continue to push forward.
One more thing. Like my stepmom, my uncle used to tell me, because they grew up during Jim Crow, they was alive during Jim Crow. They still living, but she used to tell, my uncle used to tell me, like, you know how you used to watch them racist slave movies, Jim Crow movies? She said it was 10 times worse than that in real life. It was worse than that in real life. Like, I didn't know black people weren't allowed to eat ice cream. They only could eat ice cream on the 4th of July.
Really?
Like, and that's why black people came up with butter pecan ice cream. Do you like butter pecan ice cream?
I've never had it.
It's a Southern thing. It's real popular in the South, but they don't eat. And then life insurance. You weren't allowed to have a life insurance. You only can have burial insurance. It's a law for you to have life insurance. It's so much crazy stuff you wouldn't even never thought what was going on. But I land.
Thank you. Thank you for thank you for educating me. This is the thing where this is my problem, right? I've never discredited the history. America does have an ugly history, right? My problem is that we are shackled to the history. We don't stop. We don't stop having, viewing the world through history. This is all these talking points I'm talking about right now. I don't disagree. I've never discredited the history. I've never discredited the history. Okay. The problem is, how do you move forward? Right? How do you move forward with this type of mindset, right? When you see everything through racism, when you see through everything through victimhood, when you see everything through I can't make it or whatever, it doesn't help the community. It hasn't. I haven't seen it help at all. So that's just my opinions. I haven't seen it actually help the community, right, with this type of mindset. And the thing is that thinking that you're poor, right? Thinking that you're poor, you should do crime, or automatically that makes you do crime. It's not, right? It's an excuse, right? I don't disagree. Poor white people would do crime. Poor Asian people would do crime. All this shit. I don't disagree to that. But it shouldn't be the excuse. You shouldn't. It's like, I just think that we should have more decorum, more morals. We should be better. That's it. Right? I just think that we should fight against these types of narrative, these types of mindsets. That's how I view it. Sorry that you guys asked to come on and I didn't let you guys come on. I'm trying to have a more respectful, more civil conversation. Having a whole bunch of people on, we're talking over each other. We'll go crazy. What's up? What's up?
Hey, how are you?
What's up? What's your thoughts?
I was listening to one of the conversations you were having with another gentleman, and I I disagree with a lot of the prompts that you have here.
Okay.
Um, when you say that white privilege isn't real, I think that's a fundamentally flawed argument because I think there's varying degrees of privilege for almost any race. There's black privilege, there's white privilege, there's Jewish privilege. There's privilege being, wealthy. And so I think that to say that white privilege isn't real, I feel like that just doesn't make any sense.
Well, but by your what you just said, right? If everyone has certain types of privileges,
Yep.
it's just that means it's not really distinct because in America, I don't know about you, I don't hear it. No one talks about black privilege. No one talks about Jewish privilege. No one really. I mean, the best I hear is like wealthy, right? Like social class. That's the best thing, right? Silver spoon or whatever. So I can say that, yeah, I can agree that wealthy people overall, right? The majority of wealthy people have a certain privilege, right? Have a privilege.
Okay.
But we can't necessarily, I personally can't necessarily say because you're white, you have a certain privilege. I could say that because you're wealthy, you have a certain privilege because that's more consistent with with certain situations. Being white doesn't necessarily, in today, at least I'm saying today, it doesn't necessarily give you anything extra unless you have a wealthy family, but it's the wealth more than the skin tone that's giving you that privilege, in my opinion.
Okay, so let's stick on wealth because I think this is going to prove my point very easily.
Okay.
We can look at wealth. So you said that there's wealth, there's privilege with wealth, wealthy people, right? Okay.
Correct.
So because of the history of America, because we at one point had laws that allowed many white people to attain and increase wealth that was based on discriminatory factors, that allowed white people to benefit from inflation. So, for instance, if I lived in the 17, 18, 19, early 1900s, and I was able to own 40, 50, 100, 200 acres, I was able to go to Harvard, Yale, or at least be educated. And I was able to grant my offspring a certain level of privilege over hundreds of generations. That now enables my offspring, my latest offspring, let's say in 2026, to benefit from the highest level of possible privilege. Because the people who were unable to amass that kind of land or wealth over that period of time were those people do not benefit from that level of privilege. So whether I was black or not, but see, the problem is we could make the argument that we had a large population of black people in the 1800s who owned hundreds of businesses or acres of land. So it makes it very difficult to make the argument that socioeconomically that certain races are going to be able to benefit from privilege based on wealth than others. Like it would be a very hard argument to make and say like, let's say, there's a stereotype that black people are lazy, for instance, or like, black people are not educated on their financials, or you can make the statement that, black people are on a ton of welfare. But it's like, when you look at history and you look at time, a lot of people who benefited from not being black in particular, some people think that being racist means that you're racist against everyone. What we were experiencing in America was a lot of anti-blackness, not just racism. And I think there's a fundamental difference between anti-blackness and racism. It's one thing to say I'm going to discriminate against Filipinos, I'm going to discriminate against, Jamaicans, and whatever the case may be. There was anti-blackness, which is a whole different problem. That is, I'm going to discriminate against Brazilians who have darker skin. I'm going to, discriminate against pretty much anyone who looks a certain way. That's a bigger issue. So you had a lot of laws that were disproportionately affecting black people. And now when you talk about white privilege, when you look at like medical racism, for instance, irrespective of the amount of money that you have or your education, black women specifically have a higher mortality rate, exponentially higher. And scientists and doctors through research have deduced that this is due to the complaints of black women not being taken seriously, their pain, their symptoms, and things of that nature. That's documented. So when you say that you don't have white privilege, it is a privilege to not be black giving birth. Whether you have a black doctor, whether you have a white doctor, whether you have a Filipino doctor, you have a Chinese doctor, the odds are, if you're a black woman, the rate of you dying during childbirth is higher, irrespective of education and income. This is widely documented.
Yeah. Okay. I know about the medical one you talked about. I agree. I don't disagree to that. But it is shown that it has. I mean, it's gone down, right? The mortality rate for black women, it is high. I'm not saying that it isn't high, but it's a slope going down. So things, it is progressing. It's trying to get better. So I don't think that everything will be perfect right away. So there is a ugly history. I don't disagree with that. My thing is that how I look, the early example you talked about, right? How white people establish a certain generational wealth and stuff. But this is the thing where I personally, I mean, I gotta look up these the numbers.
Sure.
It is a certain type of people that were gaining generational wealth. Not all white people, or not. I don't even think not the majority of white people were gaining generational wealth in the way that their future generations are wealthy or high middle class, because even the white there's a higher poverty in the white community than in other communities. And also we have to do a balance of population. Like the times you mentioned, white people made up 90%, right? So no duh, they would make up the majority of any kind of statistics. So how I like to go about is that, and I hope we can have some debate on this, right? I don't disagree about Jim Crow, slavery, and all that stuff. But how I do it is that I look at it in current time, right? In the last 50 years or so, right? Which is about 1 to 2 generations. In 1 to 2 generations, right? The Asian community now outpace even white people in most statistics, right? Marriages, education attainment, individual and family income, right? They're doing, and there are studies and history where Asian people were discriminated against. They were put into Asian specific jobs. So I'm not saying the same level as black people. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm saying that in 1 to 2 generations, again, it's not like it's not like the Asian community had years of a head start. So I'm trying to find a good starting point, right? A good starting point,
right?
Where we're not like, we were doing so much so well before. That's why I said in about 1 to 2 generation, we are now surpassing white people.
About 50 years, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and here's again kind of my problem. When you look at things like redlining and you look at Jim Crow just ended in about 1970, right? We're currently in 2026.
So it's about 50 years.
Right. When you take that, Jim Crow did not affect Asian people. Redlining did not affect Asian people. Actually, a lot, and this is when I encourage you to do some more research on this. Asians were the poster boys of beneficiaries for redlining. That's why you can see in a lot of predominantly black communities, there are Asians that own some kind of property or business in the black community, because black people were not allowed to own businesses in their own community. And a lot of the people who own businesses in the black community are white and also Asian. So when you bring up, and this is when you study redlining, when you bring up and you say, hey, Asian people are doing a lot better than black people, it's like, well, no shit. Because black people weren't able to own property in their own communities. In addition, after redlining took place, after Jim Crow took place, white people still use other tactics to deny black people from gaining wealth. Case in point, if you had a black sounding name, you were 50% less likely to get called back by a job. Black people were not getting credit to start businesses and own homes at record rates, even though legally on paper they could do it. They were still being discriminated against off the books. That is why people say that racism is still abounding well in 2026, because what happened was, you can legally say something. There's tons of.
Let's slow down a little bit, right? So I want to say this,
I would
right?
love to. Sure.
Yeah. So yeah, Asians in the United States were historically forced into segregated communities of their own through a combination of discretionary laws and violence and housing bans. So Asian people were segregated. I also want to say that during segregation, black people built a thriving, highly sophisticated business ecosystem within their own communities. Before, I mean,
like
during
Black
segregation,
Wall Street, right?
Yes. So
yeah, what happened to Black Wall Street?
I agree. I do know. I don't disagree with that, right? But what you just said, right? You said they didn't have it, right? But they did.
No,
I'm not
it was
saying
destroyed by white people.
I'm not saying that, right? But that also counters what you said. That you said they didn't. They did, right?
Oh no, they did. But if someone is able to legally destroy what you've just created, they really did it illegally, but they're not going to prosecute themselves.
Yeah, I agree. I agree that they did
right. They illegally destroyed our banks and businesses and our commerce. They didn't do that to Asians.
They did.
So when you say
I have a example, right, in my TikTok where they did kick out a Chinatown, right? They kicked out pretty much all Asian people from that area. So Asian people moved to another, right? Moved to another area and created another Chinatown. So it has happened to Asian people. This is the narrative where I want to fight back against, right? I mean, not in a good way, in a fun way, right? In a not a terrible way. That I'm not saying that it's the same level. Please don't think that, right? I know the black community has experienced a higher level hardship, but Asian people have experienced the same hardship. Maybe again, not the same level, but they have experienced it. My point is that if the perseverance, right, the perseverance of the Asian community, if I could see that in the Asian community, and I see the results that now, right, in today, right, after experiencing some of the hardships, like the black community, now we are doing better than the white community. I think I think it's possible in the black community too.
Hey, here's the problem. Here's another thing I don't think you also remember. The next problem with all of this American history is that black people who live here are disadvantaged. Even Asians, but mostly black people who are here are disadvantaged because a lot of the Asian immigrants who came here, anyone who immigrates here has a better chance of success than people who were born here. That's factual.
How?
And let me explain why.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. When you're born in another country, the politics in a lot of these countries is not liberal. It's very conservative. The education in these countries is also extremely good. But when these people come to the United States, they have been growing up with less distraction. The United States education is very, very, very poor. We have a lot of illiterate children. Growing up in the United States in some communities, it would have been better that these people were born in the Philippines or were born in Jamaica. America, for a number of years, has had the poorest education. So I can basically tell you that being born in America, depending on where you go to school, is likely to make you a lot dumber than had you grown up in another country and immigrated here.
Can I fight back on a little? First of all, I want to do that point, right? Another person, Deborah, said black people weren't given loans to build, where Asian people were allowed loans to open up stores. That is overblown. I looked up the stats, right? For, let's say, for Atlanta, about 17% of Asian businesses use actual loans. The majority of Asian businesses, they got money from families, right? Their own community lent the money. So that is overblown to think that, Asian businesses are built on loans that black people didn't get. No, they're built on money from the community, from each other. They were giving money to each other. Now, I want to talk about what you said, right? What you got to understand is that, and I experienced this, I lived this, right? The Asian immigrants weren't coming here as children; they're coming here as adults, poor adults, right? So their kids born in America are going through the same American education system.
Asian Americans, correct?
Going through the same American education system, and yet that's why I said in 1 to 2 generations, and yet they are outpacing white people. Within, and Asian people aren't synonymous with going through private schools. No, they're going through the public schools. A lot of them are going to public schools. But we kind of say probably like it's mentality, right? It's the mentality, it's the drive. But this is the thing where I think black people they go through more hardship. They should have better drive, in my opinion. They're more they persevere better. Why isn't the same mentality, the same morals, right? And I think during Jim Crow, black community had those, right? Because it's proof that highest marriage rates during Jim Crow, lowest divorce rates, lowest single mother rates, growing economically. But it's like after Jim Crow, they're doing all those stats, all those things I just named. It's all reversed. This is why I said, like, I think it's more. It's I don't know, a psyop or something, that we need to focus on racism or the white man. This is why I said, right, number 2, I think that's the bigger problem, right? Not the white man, not in my opinion, not racism, where men aren't leading the black community, women are. So I think that, because I think if it was men, we would have the morals, the perseverance, the strength, the drive, as a whole community. To do better, to bring up the whole community. In my opinion, when women are leading it, single mothers, it's all individual. You're not caring about the whole community as a whole. So
here's another thing though, and this is primarily why I said this. There's a lot of anti-blackness and not just racism. A lot of black people say racism, and I'm talking specifically about anti-blackness. And the reason why that's important is after redlining, after it was basically illegal to discriminate against a black person on paper, they started doing it without saying it. So to give you an example of what's happening, you have police officers who are going in and incarcerating black men at a higher rate. We know that the exoneration rate of black people is amongst the highest.
Yes.
Why is that? It's because at some point, and for a very long period of time, black people were not given due process. They were being incarcerated, and a lot of them died in jail.
Can I do a pushback on that part? The point where you're just talking about exoneration rates? I looked into these numbers. I agree with you, right? But here, maybe this is a little bit controversial and a bit of pushback, right? I don't believe, right, it's racism, right, with the exoneration rate. I believe it's incompetence. Police incompetence. Here's my...
police aren't the ones who incarcerate black people.
Well, I mean...
It's the district attorney and judges
incompetent justice
and juries.
System, right? But the
justice system is filled with people who are educated, like lawyers and judges. Those are the people who are doing the sentencing.
Incompetence is that they don't care. They just won't put anyone, right?
No, incompetence is not that they don't care. Incompetence is that they fail to have the intelligence to properly do their job. Not caring is another. It's another
Okay, I
problem.
mean, I can agree with that. But this is the thing where this is the thing where this is why I look at the homicide rates, right? It's, in my opinion, it's not that they arrest black people, right? It's not that they arrest black people. It's they arrest
now
the
it's
wrong.
not as much as that they arrest black people. Before, what I'm saying is post redlining, when they said it's no longer okay for us to discriminate against black people based on where they live and things of that nature, these are the tactics that they started employing. People joined the police department to specifically kill and arrest black people at record rates, right? You had tons of times where cops were planting drugs in black communities, and there was no evidence to say, like, hey, a cop's word was taken as Bible. So if a cop said that you had drugs on you, whether you did or not does not matter. That absolutely does not matter. And a cop can arrest you. Now, the justice system, here's the next problem that was going on. They were sentencing black people at such a higher rate for the same crimes that white people, a good example is drug possession. White people historically get slaps on the wrist for drug possession. Drug use is almost equal amongst race. There's no race that really uses drugs more than another.
Yeah.
It might be slightly higher in the white community, but white people serve significantly lower sentences for the same crimes. So here's part of the problem. You can make the statement and say, like, hey, black people don't do this. Black men should do this. The problem is when a black man commits a murder, the likelihood that he gets 20 plus, 40 plus years, or even life or the death penalty is significantly higher than when a white person does it. Case in point, I was looking at TikTok today. There are white women who are killing their children at record rates. Look at Casey Anthony. Casey Anthony should be getting capital punishment, but there is a certain anti-blackness. Did you see that? I think it was the TikToker, the white female TikToker that ended up like stabbing her black boyfriend.
Yeah.
They reduced her second-degree murder charge to a second-degree manslaughter charge. She's only going to serve 5 years. But look at Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo Anthony arguably was in a position of, you could argue to some degree it was self-defense. You can argue that he shouldn't have had a knife. I'm not really going to debate that.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have had a knife. But Carmelo Anthony off rip, he's getting tried as an adult and he gets an excessive sentence. A white woman killed her boyfriend in cold blood and got second-degree manslaughter. This is the type of stuff that I'm talking about.
I mean, but this is the thing. This is a thing where we can't.
You can't kill an innocent person and get off of murder and get on manslaughter. How does that work?
But we also got to think about our justice system is very, very biased, no matter who you are.
Correct.
But it's no matter who you are. Plenty of
it's like biased towards white women. Those are the main.
I mean, I am definitely against white liberal women. So I mean, I'm not like.
But those are the people, not even white liberal. It's white women specifically serve the lowest sentences of all people.
I don't disagree with that.
So based on another statistic I like to bring up, we can bring up the FBI crime statistic, right?
Mm-hmm.
White men commit grapes at a record high rate. They are the number one people in this country who grape, both adults and children. Why do we not see more of these guys getting capital punishment? They're getting sentenced. Look at Larry Nassar. Look at people like freaking Epstein. People like white males are not getting prosecuted. Man, the amount of crimes that a white person can do and get away with for a period of time. I'm not saying that they wholly are going to get away with it. But when you look at like even, what was that guy's name? That investment guy, what was his name? I'm gonna look his name up because
Yeah.
freak, what was his name? But I'm just saying that when you look at the rates when you look at the rates of who is getting sentenced, even look at Freemasonry. Freemasonry is a group that affords you certain privileges. Whether you're black, white, Hispanic, if you become a Freemason, you have a certain level of privilege with the justice system, right? Because it's a fraternal organization. A lot of judges are Freemasons. A lot of cops are Freemasons. A lot of lawyers are Freemasons. A lot of people in private equity are Freemasons. So it's like, if you're a white person, you're benefiting from a certain level of privilege, being white at baseline. You're a white man, you're a white woman, you're less likely to get sentenced for a crime, and you're less likely to serve the same sentencing as any other race. Then we get into gender. Women serve lower sentences for the same crimes that they commit, that men commit. So we see, like, if you're white and if you're a female, you're at the top of the hierarchy. Then if you're white and you're a man, and then you have money. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's like, when you look at the hierarchy, it's very easy to point the finger and say, like, oh, well, if you're black and you're a man, well, you're kind of fucked. Because just by look, you know, if I had like I don't want to get too personal, but like I've had cases and stuff in my life that, you know, had I had a lawyer, multiple lawyers actually tell me straight up, if you were a white woman, this would be a multi-million-dollar lawsuit. But unfortunately, you're a black man. This is not going to go anywhere. Because when they look at black skin, they look at aggression, they look at strength, they look at power. They assume that a black teenager is just guilty. This is implicit bias. Do you get what I'm saying? So when you say it's like, racism is a form of bias, but anti-blackness is the real concept why black people are having such a big issue. It's people seeing black skin and saying it's ugly. Black people don't deserve to live. Black people are vermin. You have a lot of people talking about black people are monkeys. That's why we're 3/5 of a person. They didn't think we deserve to live. We're not even human. That type of anti-black concept, that has nothing to do with Black American. That is if you have dark skin. Having dark skin is inherently a problem. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's like, it's one thing to say black. It's like, yeah, black people, you could be Hispanic, but if you have dark skin, you're going to get treated worse than if you had a white skin. If you're a white Puerto Rican, you get treated better than if you're a dark-skinned Puerto Rican. It's how colorism goes. It's like, that's just kind of what it is. Do you get what I'm saying?
I don't necessarily disagree. I mean, particularly with personal experiences, but I look at it as a whole, right? To say that, you know, I'm not saying that there's no problems, right? But to say that we live in a country where, you know, you see black excellence everywhere. You see black power everywhere, right?
Sure,
black people has been a president, governors, mayors, police chiefs, powers in the Senate, in the it's like, I'm not, again, this is my thing where sometimes the black community thinks that we should live in a world or in a nation where there's zero, I don't know, struggles or hates or anything.
I don't think they think that at all.
I do, because this is the thing where
hate shouldn't be based on the fact that you have dark skin. I
but
think that's
it will always be based like, okay, could we both agree, right? If hypothetically we live in a nation where there's all one color, do you think there will be no hate of any kind?
I'm sure people would find something to discriminate against, like if you had blonde hair versus dark hair, but that kind of thing happens also, but it just doesn't happen at the kind of rate. Like, we're not enslaving dark-haired people because they have dark hair. We've enslaved black people because they have dark skin.
Well,
and
but,
not only that,
we can see examples of that in other places. Like, let's say India, right? They all look the same, exactly the same. Yeah, there's a caste system where literally you're poor, you will always be that. You will never get out of that. So we see the human behavior, the human mentality. That's the thing where my thing is like, I've always said that it's disgusting. America does have an ugly past, right?
Yeah.
But my thing is that I think we have an amazing present, and I think we should focus on trying to make a better future.
You think our present is great?
I mean, I see black people amazing. I said this already, right? In America, right, we have more middle class to wealthy black people than even Africa, a whole nation, right, with a higher percentage
there's
of
reasons for
black
that, though.
population.
But there are reasons. I do agree with you, and I'm not saying that black people are doing terrible, but there are reasons for that. This country is not doing well. Maybe in the metric that black people are getting more educated and stuff like that, yeah, but that stuff is going to take time. If you look over maybe the next 50 or 100 years, black people are going to be very, very, very proficient at doing a lot of things that they didn't before. But that's besides kind of the point. This country, we are going in a very dangerous place with Donald Trump as our president. And if you're looking at the wealth gap, this has nothing to do with race. I think most of the discrimination that's happening today is based on money and not so much race. But it's like race is also a factor in how much money you have, because at some point it's like there's an element of luck. Like, I am very successful.
Mm-hmm.
At my age, I am very, very successful.
Amazing.
I'm upper middle class by myself.
Amazing.
However, it is of course, I worked extremely hard, but the odds that I didn't get killed in the underprivileged community that I lived in for much of my life is by luck. There are plenty of very educated, very intelligent black men who are killed who never make it to be something. Do you know what I'm saying? Which is not their fault. There's plenty of black guys who've been killed by the police, for instance, who were going to be something or who were something.
But don't you think that that's what we need to focus on, right? The community. It's like I don't discredit that. Yes, we should point out when, let's say, a police or someone white harms a black person, but in numbers alone, that is like less than 1%. While what happens for everyday black person is what's happening in the community. That is more pressing. That is a big issue. I'm not saying, and I also said, I also agree with the last person that I'm not saying that being poor doesn't, there's problems being poor, but like there's other communities that being poor doesn't automatically make you kill each other or make you rob each other, right? It's like how we go about it, right? And we want to make the community better. And that's
I agree that community does play a role, but you know what also plays a role? And here's the thing. This is why this comes back to history. When you make all these statements, I agree with you to a certain extent. But when you look at like funding, okay, a lot of these communities, for instance, if you know that there's a gang problem, what is stopping the government from going in and taking out gangs? There's not a damn thing. Especially with Donald Trump as a president, if Donald Trump really wanted to eradicate black crime and gun violence, Donald Trump could have the feds come in Chicago, New York, Brooklyn, New York, the Bronx, wherever he wanted to, and they could eradicate. I would be so much more a fan of the police. Police don't come out to do real policing. They like to you wouldn't think that'd be called racist? People.
You don't think that would be called racist? Because I think Donald Trump
whether it would be called racist
that.
or not, that's actual help. If you have criminals, like, what am I as a black person to do? Here's the next problem. You have black people who come to the police. This was happening also again in the 80s and 90s. You had black people, just regular black people, not niggas, who were going out telling the police, hey, this guy's selling drugs. This guy's selling guns. You know what the police did? The police were working with these gangsters. A lot of these people got murdered. People would go to testify. They'd say, oh, the police, they're gonna protect you. These witnesses get murdered all the time. Police don't protect them. So it discourages people from coming forward, because it's like, do I want to tell the truth about something happening and then lose my life? I have children to protect. This is the problem with the damn justice system. Because when it comes to white people, when white people are reporting crimes, they're not getting sniped. People are not kicking down their doors and murdering them at the same rates. It's like, I get that it happens, but at some point, if the police really want to create a task force and crack down on crime, they sure as hell can.
I think that there would be a lot of pushback for that. Right? It's like it seems like if you focus your crime, I mean, because like what is it? I think Donald Trump recently just did one, I think in Washington, and there was a lot of pushback by politicians or black leaders that they were saying that this was racist, right? This
Look
was
at
a
El
racial motive.
Salvador with MS-13. The new president or the prime minister, he said, "Hey, I'm sick and tired of with this cartel.
I agree.
Every single motherfucker is going to jail."
I don't disagree.
Story.
But I think this is the thing where we have a system where no one is in full control, right? This ain't. I mean, as much as people hate Donald Trump, it's not a dictatorship. You can't 100% do exactly what you want. You have to go through so many other people.
But you can discourage people from doing crime. That's why we have sentencing. That's why we have punishment, imprisonment.
I do think that we should, this is the thing where I'm all in support of us revamping our justice system. It is very flawed. I definitely, I mean, me and you, I mean, we both, I could agree with you, right? All the things you said, I definitely agree that our justice system is very flawed.
If a black child goes to a good school that other like Asians and whites attend, they're likely going to have a very similar outcome. A lot of these places that are producing these criminals, there's a significant lack of funding in key areas. We look at social determinants of health, right? Social determinants of health, where you eat, where you go to school, whatever the case may be. These places are not funded very well. The grocery stores, the types of options that you have, the types of stores that are, why is there a convenience store pretty much near every predominantly black neighborhood? The black people don't own the convenience store. Why is it? Do you get what I'm saying? It introduces them to things like cigarettes and alcohol. Any predominantly white neighborhood or affluent neighborhood, there is none of that near. So it's like, okay, in the poorer neighborhoods, we're going to have more access to drugs and crime. Whereas in the wealthier neighborhoods, that stuff is a lot harder to get a hold of. It's a lot harder. It's easy. You get what I'm saying? It's like kids are walking to school because it's in their neighborhood, but based on where you live, you have access to things that you wouldn't have regardless. So it's like in a lot of these inner city schools like Brooklyn or the Bronx and whatever the case may be, you are just subject to so much fuckery as a child that it's very hard to say like, oh my God, this black guy he's such a waste of shit. He doesn't want to do anything. It's like, you're not being introduced to marijuana as an affluent white or an affluent person at all. But most of them, again, happen to be white. And why is it that the majority of affluent people happen to be white? Why is that? And we're not talking about, because we can talk about like middle class. Obviously, there's tons of Asian middle class and stuff, but we're talking about, these elite communities in pretty much every state. If you're born into that city or live adjacent to some of these properties, you will never even have the choice to do some of these things. It's not even a choice. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's like it's multifactorial in some point. And you could talk about the disparity of black people with hypertension and diabetes and stuff, but it's like, again, black communities, what is their supermarket filled with? I went, I was about to say my career, but I travel for a career. And I administer services and things like that. And when I went to this like inner city grocery store, orange juice was fucking $7.50 for a gallon. Where I live, orange juice is like $3. So how does it make sense that in the affluent community that I live in, I have 4 grocery stores near me and all of them are cheaper than I go to the hood basically because I was sick and I wanted some orange juice. That orange juice is double the damn price. It makes no sense. These are types of economic factors that I say racism and Jim Crow and slavery play a role in, because the community that I live in currently, we don't have a lot of black people. There is none of that. The community that I did live in, or the one that I traveled to, there's tons of black and Latino people. So it's like you get access to do bullshit, and it's like it makes it that much harder to not fall in the wrong, the wrong the wrong crowd. If you put a white kid or bunches of white kids or Asian kids in the hood and they live there till they're 18, I guarantee you're going to see some Asian bloods. Look at California. There's tons of Asian gang members, tons of Latino gang members, because that's their, but there's no propaganda on Asians like that. Like there's look at look at 9/11, or you could look at COVID. When those two things happened, there was a huge spotlight on that community, basically saying like, oh, these people are dangerous, and that was xenophobia, and you saw it called out. But you don't see the same things when Charlie Kirk gets up on a podium and says, if I see a black pilot or a surgeon, I'm gonna think that they were a DEI candidate or a beneficiary. It's like that doesn't get called out as racist. That's not a problem to say. But then if you say it's the Chinese virus, now you're xenophobic. That got called out literally on national news. So it's like, this is kind of what I'm saying. It's like there's an element of anti-blackness. Oh, if you're black and you say you got discriminated against by a race, you're using the black card. It's like, no one said Asian people are using the Asian card. Or what about Muslims who are getting hurt? Those Muslims are getting beaten and harassed, and they had absolutely nothing to do with what happens in this country. It was called out. It was called out to be wrong. But see, this is but when you're black, it's like, oh shit. These blacks just keep complaining. There's a huge anti-black movement. Look at how black men are fetishized.
Let's think. Don't you think that there's a little bit of a kind of the crying wolf kind of mentality, right? When everything is racist, it's like there's a bit of what could be racist, right? So let's say this, right? Where you say, in my opinion, right? There's other communities that's not always bringing up the racism card. So when they make a stink about something, maybe it gives more power to it.
There are a lot of Asians that complain about medical school admissions. There's tons of Asians that complain.
But they don't do it. It's like you hear, right? It was the Asian hate crime and schooling, but you don't hear like Asian people constantly bringing up race as the problem, right?
Well, but
specific
how do
situation.
you know that these things are problems, right? You know it because of social media. You know it because of the news. Who owns the news channels?
But who's controlling the social media? We all control our own selves on social media.
We don't. You're flawed. We have something called an algorithm.
I do agree with that. But again, it's the people.
And certain content is pushed more than others. Conservatives were crying around the time from 2016 to 2020, 2023, when they were talking about how Donald Trump got cheated in the election. Conservatives were bitching the whole time, talking about, oh, we're being censored. And they were being censored. If you were a Christian, you got censored. End of story on Facebook. You posted about God, you got censored. That's how it was.
I don't disagree, but at the end of the day, it doesn't change that. Yes, these apps, these companies, they do control what you see, right? But we also, a lot of times, we are putting out that content, right? So conservative put out the content, leftists put out content. So at the end of the day,
but buddy,
we are able
if you
to
put out a post right now, you're not going to get 3 million views on your post. There's people who get shadow banned all the time.
No, I definitely agree.
So there's a certain level of access that you can have, and the next thing I want to talk about is you can't prove. You have to have evidence. The reason why people complain about racism is because you don't have evidence before. No one can call you the N-word and just get away with it. Mm-hmm. People look at you and think, I don't think this black person is as competent as this Asian person. So I'm going to grant admission to this medical school to this Asian person because I think they're more competent. That has fuck all to do with their qualifications and everything to do with the person's own personal choice. And when enough people can make that own personal choice, right, you have a system or you have a movement. When enough people think that, do you know what I'm saying? if I look at you and I'm interviewing you versus a black candidate, and I have a bias to think that black people are smarter than Asians or black people are more agreeable, that's my own personal bias.
Yeah.
And I say that you're not going to get this job, or let's say I choose the black candidate over you.
Mhm.
You have no idea that the reason I chose the black candidate over you is because I like black people more.
Correct.
You wouldn't know that.
Yeah.
But it would still be racism. But you just can't prove it unless I said something.
Okay. Yeah.
The difference is people used to say something. Now they don't say things anymore. They do the same things. They just don't say it. So it's like, oh, you can't prove that I'm racist. I didn't call you the N-word.
But then, by the same token, we just can't blindly assume it.
Okay. But when you've had a history of hundreds of over 400 years of the same kinds of behaviors taking place, and all of a sudden legally they're not allowed to do it, those types of habits take a while to wash out. You can't just act like, oh, okay, you know, in freaking 1968, now it's illegal to the day after. Now it's illegal to.
Can I stick with that same idea, right?
Yep.
The mindset you talked about.
Yeah.
If you agree to that, right? If you agree to that, because your logic has to be consistent, right? You have to understand that stereotypes. It's like this is my kind of the hypocrisy I see sometimes within the black community, right? So you said that, you know what, it takes time for that mindset to dissipate or vanish. The same thing with, let's say, certain communities, right? They look at a black community a certain way, a stereotype community. Let's say you enter this always talked about, right? If you enter a store, convenience store, whatever, they look at you a certain way.
Okay.
That's the kind of mindset. Why is that? That is a no, right? Black community usually says that is racist, that's terrible, you shouldn't think like that. But by your same logic, right?
Yeah.
You saying that, you know, it takes time for people to, you know, the racism ideology to dissipate, right?
Yeah.
But that's not that. Then those are they counteract each other. It's a kind of hypocrisy.
No, it doesn't.
Hypocrisy.
Because
you
have to be aware of your bias and actively work against it. That's no one else's fault but your own.
But then you don't work against your bias in thinking the racism.
I'm sorry?
You don't work against, I'm not saying you particularly, right? But you don't work against the bias of racism, the idea of racism. You're going to assume it until whatever, the idea dissipate, or years later it, you know, gets better or whatever. Right? You expect other communities to get over it or try to fight against that bias, that stereotype, that mindset. But there's no grace, right? There's no grace for that, but there's grace for black people holding on to the idea of racism, the feeling, the mindset of racism today. And assuming whoever, or assuming the majority of the situation is a racist undertone. I just find that the hypocrisy in that.
Here's the problem, though. The reason why black people can cry about it, so to speak, is because black people are disproportionately affected. If it would be one thing if like everyone was as affected as black people. It's specifically black people that these policies targeted. And specifically, we also didn't receive reparations. Jews received reparations. You know how that helped the Jewish community to have a
But
wealth?
they didn't receive it from America.
They got but they're not. But they took their wealth and came where? And they came here.
Well, what does that? I mean, that's the difference. Okay, so I don't understand the correlation. They didn't receive it from America, right? And here's the thing. Here's the thing with reparations.
They did get some reparations from America. They did.
America was the middleman, right? What I've read about it, right? I'm not saying I'm a historian or anything, but America was the middleman where they facilitated what Germany did to them, to the Jews. So they were just the middleman. They didn't give, American money, whatever, to the Jews.
Hold on. I just want to respond to JJ Hilton. She said, you're not going to get reparations. We went through the Great Depression. The Great Depression wasn't based on white people being white, though. So that's a dumb Like that's a non sequitur. That just doesn't make sense. I don't think we're like far away from each other in terms of ideology.
Yeah,
But
I love this conversation.
Yeah, I just do think that because a lot of the black I used to be a black conservative. A lot of the black conservatives ignore black history, and they come to 2026. They come to present day. They're like, well, what about now? And that's the biggest problem. It's like if you don't go into history, you will start to think, oh, blacks are just lazy. Blacks are just violent.
Or
if you
no,
don't educate yourself, you will have these biases. You
But
will.
why? This is the thing. Why? It's like why? I mean, like I'm surprised that you turn away from black conservative because don't you? In my opinion, right? This is my
Yeah.
kind of the basis of my logic. Don't
Yeah.
you think that being shackled to the past keeps
Yeah.
you from going forward?
Well, I don't think it's being shackled. I think we're ignoring. You need to know your history. Germany's not going to have certain problems because they don't live in Hitler's age, but they remember what took place to make sure it never happens again. The Mein Kampf is banned. Here we have the Confederate flag that people can still fly high as hell. People can spew all types of racist rhetoric, and it's okay. You can't do that in Germany. You'll go to jail. You cannot do certain things in other countries. The way China, you can't do certain shit in China. China is extremely strict. Their government has
hate crimes
hold
are
over their people.
We do have hate crimes in America.
Yeah,
Right.
of course.
So it's not like America doesn't care at all.
I'm not saying America doesn't care, and I think there are good people, but I think when you fall into
But don't you think there's a
conservatism-
difference between learning from history, right? Which I think that we do, but it's using history as always the boogeyman or the excuse for everything.
Well, white conservatives or conservatives in general usually don't know black history. That's why they ask dumb questions like, why don't black people own anything? It's like, well, black people were disproportionately affected by hate crimes, which prevented them from getting bank loans, starting businesses. And when black people did build up their communities, white people destroyed them.
No,
I mean,
the only thing
so
is
it's
different
like-
between they're saying this is the thing where I kind of see it today. Look, I mean, you are a perfect example of what white people talk about. Your success, right? Your achievements is what I believe white conservatives talk about, right? The level of your life, you are literally the example they would use. You are that person, right? So this
You're
is why
correct, but I'm a beneficiary of tons of privilege. So I just had to make the choice.
Did you not
to
grow up
be
in
into
like
shit.
kind of a lot of similar situations as other black people? I mean, was your youth actually privileged? I mean, because I personally know a lot of young black men that grew up in the hood, grew up in poverty, single mothers, all this stuff, and they still achieve six figures, middle class, whatever.
Right.
So I wouldn't call that privilege.
It's just the odds, though. Success is not something that has necessarily high odds. I gave you examples of social determinants of health, and I talked about crime, for instance. If you had 40% of black people who were trying to become educated, and those were the ones who were victims of these crimes that set them back, it's like, well, it's almost a wash at some point in time.
Well,
I said,
this is the thing where it's like I kind of feel like the idea of like you want the odds to be better or be equal. I kind of think that it is. I don't want to say anything terrible, but I think it's ridiculous in a sense, where
buddy,
because the odds is sometimes a lot of it's just your surrounding, it's your community, right?
Devil.
Odds could be how you
to
grew up
any
in two-parent
black
households, or or your community killing each other. Those are odds that add to it. Essentially, a lot of it is
I
within
want
the
you to do
community.
some research on something.
Yeah.
I want you to, and I have to go, unfortunately.
No. Thank you for
But I
the
want you to do
conversation. I
some
love it.
research on something.
Go for it.
Medical school, when you look at people who are fired or disbarred from medical residency after they've become a medical doctor, they go to residency. 50% of the people who are fired from residency are black. And the reason is professionalism. Up until you become a resident, you are being judged objectively. Your MCAT scores, your GPA, right? Your experience, right? When you get to residency, you are no longer judged objectively. You're judged subjectively. Why is it that black people make up only 5% of doctors, but they're 50% of people who get fired off of a subject? They're not getting fired because they're incompetent. They're getting fired off of professionalism. What is professionalism? Professionalism could be you came late. Professionalism could be I don't like the way your hair is. It's not a white hairstyle. It could be you didn't kiss your attending's ass enough. Lack of professionalism could literally be anything. And this is another area. If you go up and speak to any black doctor, they can tell you the type of hazing that they faced to get the same kind of education and just to get their degree. People get fucked all the time. Like attending physicians are usually dickheads.
Well, I mean,
but when you're black, you have to bend over backwards and kiss ass because you will be a doctor who cannot practice. You will be you will have an MD and not be able to work. And this is the type of stuff I'm telling you about. You need to look up medical racism because medical racism is very, very, very well documented. It is so much harder to be a black person and get into these programs, get into medical school in particular. And once you get there, you've passed every objective standard. People still think you're fucking dumb. Like Charlie Kirk, they still say, he's a black surgeon. He probably just got let into Harvard. He just got let into Mayo Clinic. You see these white conservatives under these comments, and that's literally all they say.
But this is the thing. I think black women do make up a lot of the nurses. So I think they have a good proportions of
nursing is different. You're never you're rarely
I'm just talking about medical
based
field
on
in
a
general.
subjective standard though.
But
medicine is very different than nursing.
Okay. I mean you're probably right. I'll look it up. I'll definitely look it up.
But even if you look at how this country is, and you were talking about conservatism, we have such a problem. We have a lack of doctors. Right? We have a lack of doctors.
Yeah.
So you would think that they would create more residency positions to create more doctors. No, they don't do that. They bottleneck the amount of positions that are available to increase competitiveness. What can you explain to me the difference between a doctor who had a 4.0 and a doctor who had a 3.9? There is none.
Yeah.
In practical application, but they bottleneck it to the point where it's like, if hypothetically speaking, you had teachers growing up who did want to discriminate against you, you're kind of fucked. It's like your grades are just not going to be as high. I went to a private school who, if your parents worked there or donated tons of money, you got straight A's. That's how it went. You could be plagiarizing papers. You were not going to get in any type of trouble. Plagiarize the paper and you're poor, that shit was not gonna fly. But how would you prove that? Like college admissions and officers don't know that. They don't know jack shit about you other than what letter grade is on your transcript. And I'm saying if you have microaggressions like this who take place at large scales, it's very easy to fall into the logic of thinking, black people are less competent. When you have black people who are as competent, they still don't get their flowers.
I don't know because I've seen the growing success in the black community.
LeBron James' freaking wife just walked into Louis Vuitton or was it Louis? It was either Louis Vuitton or Hermes, and they wouldn't even let her shop there. This woman has billions of dollars. Look at Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey, when she was at the height of her career, there were so many luxury stores that wouldn't even allow her to shop there because they thought she was poor. Why did they think she's poor? She's fucking black. They think black and poor are synonymous. Do you get what I'm saying?
I see the point.
Dave Chappelle talked about it. Dave Chappelle said, why is it that I can use the N-word and, like with the hard R on TV? They let me do that. But I can't say any discriminatory words against white people or the LGBTQ community. And he even created 2 stand-ups just based on that are on Netflix. Because of that, he said, "Oh, I can call black people N-words, but I can't call LGBTQ people the F word."
Yeah, I know.
That
I
is a
saw that one.
system. That is a system.
Well, I
Do you
mean,
get what I'm saying? That is a
it's-
system that allows certain things to take place.
But this is the thing where it's like nowadays they're not policing black people how they talk about other black people. So it's like I don't think they would. It's a little bit different, right? I think it's a little bit different because the alphabet community it's a whole nother beast.
Hey, I hear you, but just from my personal experience, and I'm not a victim by any means, but I
No.
can just speak, and I can't assume that because I made it and I'm successful that I can put my feet into another black person's shoes and say, "Oh, I had 2 parents who are both educated, and like I benefited from a certain level of privilege. My parents were focused on education, but that was a benefit of not being born in the United States like my parents. My parents grew up in another country with a different mindset. That in and of itself is a whole benefit.
But this is the thing, why can't that mindset isn't unique? Right?
The mindset is unique.
It's not because like consistently all other immigrants has that same kind of mindset.
Right.
So it's not necessarily unique to skin tone.
Well. Black immigrants also do well. Look at Nigerians.
Yeah, I agree.
Most of the black doctors are African.
Yeah.
But so it's like
that mindset is not unique to skin tone.
Okay, the mindset is not unique to skin tone. You're right. However, the application of opportunity sometimes it's becoming less, but sometimes is due to skin tone.
I don't think black Africans have more opportunities than black Americans. I don't see that in the studies or anything.
They don't have more opportunities?
No. I mean, please educate me. Right? Just being an immigrant black person, I don't see. I mean, again, we can both agree about mindset, right? Culture, how you're having 2 parents, yes. But it's like in the country,
when you live in these other countries, you're exposed to a different kind of lifestyle. Like your health is better. It's much easier to attain any of these professions. In Jamaica, it's a lot easier to become a nurse or a doctor. In Africa, it's a lot easier to be a nurse or a doctor. You live anywhere. When you go to the United States, you have to go through leaps and bounds to become a fucking nurse or doctor. You have to incur $150,000 worth of damn debt. It's like becoming something in this country is no easy feat. You can go to another country and go become a damn nurse easily.
Yeah.
It's not that hard. That's why that's why they have the Filipino mafia. They have such a large amount of Filipino nurses because nursing in the Philippines is very easily attainable. So they get their nursing degree and they come over here, which is transferable. And that's why you have such a large Filipino population in our medical community. That's a very good example.
Yeah, but here's the thing, right? The H-1B visa, which is those kind of programs, it's not the majority of immigrants. They don't make up the majority of immigrants.
I hear you, but I think being born here as a Black American puts you at a deficit by default. I think it already puts
because
you at
of
a
mindset.
deficit.
I think at what we talked about, what me and you talked about, what I heard you said, right? And again, thank you for a lot of the educated point of views. But I think it boils down to mindset. It boils down to culture, in my opinion. I love the things you said about.
Mindset is definitely a huge portion of it, but I just think it's much easier to make certain decisions based on who you are. If you get a head start, like if we're all running a race, but you start 15 meters ahead of me, but you're slower, the odds of you completing the race first are still higher. If something happens to both of us during the race, you're still 15 meters faster or ahead of me.
But let's say this. One of the head starts is having a 2-parent household. That shouldn't be like a crazy head start. I mean, or a crazy idea.
I agree.
Right? So
I agree, but even look at scholarships. Look at, okay, so like let's say you're black and you can't, you come from an underprivileged family. You don't have much money, but you're educated and you're intelligent and you want to be more educated. The access to you getting to some of these institutions is a lot harder. I even look at, if you look at who's the beneficiaries of a lot of scholarship, it's white people. White people are able to get their children to an elite school despite not having grades based on what they're donating to the damn school, or even medical residency. You have a lot of people who are doctors who donate to schools who can get a residency spot because their parents can afford to give the hospital $2 million. Then they can become a cardiothoracic surgeon. Although they might not, like, there's a certain level of like unspoken privilege.
no, I
When
do.
Donald Trump
I
said
agree.
he could
Legacy is a problem. I don't disagree. Legacy issues. I don't disagree
why
with
did
that.
Donald Trump say he could walk down Fifth Ave and shoot someone and he won't go to jail? Why does he have so much confidence to say something like that? He said he could commit capital murder and not go to jail. There's a reason he said that.
I think he was being hyperbolic.
Hey, that's but for Donald Trump to say he could commit murder in front of anyone, in broad daylight and not go to jail, he's making a statement. And Donald Trump exposed a lot of the corruption through,
Yeah.
I don't hate him, but he exposed a lot of what other people are doing that's so corrupt through how he chose to run this country. And I think it's a blessing to just see that. Because now we can see it's a top-down versus argument. It's not a black versus white. It's a rich people versus poor people. Is really what it is.
And you know what? I think, we could probably find some common ground. I think this is kind of why I fight against racism or the idea, because it only divides us, where we're not thinking about, okay, what is the true problem we're all facing? It is economic. I think whatever skin tone you have, you're facing the economic, issues. So I just think that, if we are more together, it benefits everyone, in my opinion. But, thank you for the conversation.
It was a pleasure debating with you.
I love it.
I appreciate the insight.
No, I love it. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, guys, this was a long one. Again, I just wanted to create a respectful place where we could just have a conversation with each other, right? Whether I agree, whether you disagree, whether whatever, it's just, let's have a conversation. That is it, right? I think we need more of this, where we can just talk to each other, right? Not hate. I was respectful. They were respectful. And that's all I say, right? Just let's have some respectful conversation with each other. But yeah, guys, that is it. The live went on for a long time, right? I just want to show that we should be able to talk each other, right? Talk with each other. Whether you disagree, whether you agree, it doesn't matter. We should be able to understand each other's point of views. We should be able to, see some common grounds, because we are civilized humans. We are civilized. I don't hate you. You shouldn't hate me. And we should just be able to talk it out, right? Guys, that is it for today. We went for a long time. I subscribe if you want to see some more. I try to do these as much as I can, right? I love you guys. That is it. Later, guys. Guys, thank you for being here. Brent, Self-Made, Deborah, right? Laughing Man, Candor, thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone, for stopping by. Yeah. Love it, hate it. It is what it is. I'm glad you guys could stop by and have a conversation. But yeah, the TikTok, I get more traction, more people having a conversation on TikTok. No one really, I try to bring this over into YouTube, but I don't know, maybe YouTube shadow banned me and doesn't push my content out like that. It is what it is, right? What can I say? But yeah, that is it for this one. I'm going to be going to our regular schedule live stream later. So